4th down and 6. Old Bridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the campus of Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of Old Bridge Knights High School football. Today, the Knights kick off the 2025 season against Cedar Creek High School as part of the 2025 Battle at the Beach High School football kickoff. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto, and we are excited to welcome our audience into our second season of Knights coverage here on the PDF Sports Network. And Dave, it was such a blast covering the Knights during the 2024 season. It was our first high school football coverage here on PDF, and Old Bridge took us with them on an exciting run throughout New Jersey on the road to the postseason. This year, we will be alongside the team for every game on their schedule, beginning with today's matchup against Cedar Creek.
That's right, Joe. A new season brings a world of new possibilities. And for the Old Bridge Knights and second-year head coach Matt Donahue, the sky is the limit. This was a team that we kept saying last year was very young, and yet they managed to impress. One game away from winning their division, a playoff berth, and a year's worth of highlights, it seems, makes you pretty giddy about what may come to pass here this season starting today. Their opponent, a Section 3 Pirates team that finished as a playoff semifinalist after a 7-2 regular season mark last season. It may be back to the beach here for Cedar Creek and Old Bridge, but this is going to be a 4-quarter war here at Rowan.
And we are certainly looking forward to it. Last season, the Knights got off to a 3-3 start before winning their last 3 games on their way to the Central Group 5 playoffs. There, they suffered a tough 2-point loss against Cherokee to end their season. However, this team showed us plenty on both sides of the ball that would lead us to believe that they should contend for the postseason yet again this year. What stood out to you as we covered our first full season of Knights football in 2024, Dave, and what can fans of this team look forward to in 2025?
Well, Joe, like we referenced, this was a young team last year for Old Bridge, and when you have a team that young, you temper yourself for what should be a rebuilding season. But that was not the case last year, and the reason is because of that overachieving youth, led by quarterback Brody Nugent. As a sophomore a year ago, he was just spectacular. He comes into the season as one of New Jersey's top dual-threat quarterbacks, and the rest flows from there, Joe. Their offensive and defensive lines were terrific and super young. The defense also super talented. Now a year older, very stout against the run, and they get after the quarterback. I think what stands out to me most, Joe, is that they didn't truly have a weakness. And now a year older, this coaching staff with a year under its belt, having tasted a bit of success, it's exciting times now for Old Bridge.
No question there is plenty of excitement surrounding this team entering the 2025 season, and this game is what is effectively known as a Week 0 matchup for these two teams, and it's one of several games that will take place on this field today. Shifting our focus to the other side of this matchup, what do we know about Cedar Creek coming into today's game, and what did their 2024 season look like in comparison to Old Bridge?
Well, Joe, they're coming off back-to-back tremendous seasons under head coach James Melody. 2 years ago, they made it to the Section 3 final, coming in from the Independence Division. Last year, they moved over to the Constitution Division and posted a 5-1 division mark, made it to the semifinal round. And, Joe, they're powered offensively by the terrific running of Amir Dunbar. As a sophomore and junior the past 2 years, you're talking about over 2,500 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns. You could do the math. That's over 100 yards on the ground per game. He's the bell cow of an offense that has twice been led by senior quarterbacks in the past. That'll change a little bit today. But, Joe, for the great offense Cedar Creek has long had, they only gave up 65 points in their 8 wins last year. This is a defense that forces turnovers. They make huge plays. They allow their offense to play on short fields. They're complementary, and if they plan to be good again this season, that defense is going to be a key reason why.
Certainly the case entering today's game. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to have the chance to cover all 9 games on the Old Bridge schedule this year. Let's get a look at what that schedule is going to look like and see where our coverage is going to take us during the 2025 season.
Yeah, Joe, the Knights once again play in the National Gold Division in the Big Central New Jersey Conference, and the familiar foes will be there. One game that will be circling is that game against Piscataway. They finished first last year in the National Gold, and of course, the reason why is a 22-21 win they had against the Knights in Old Bridge last year. Morristown was another tough loss for Old Bridge on the road in a game in which they were shorthanded for. That game is in Old Bridge this year, and what better way to end the season, Joe, but with a rematch against Colonia, a game that went into multiple stages of overtime and had a ton of playoff implications on the line when they last played. Should be a very exciting 2025 for sure.
You're absolutely right about that. We got the chance to know this team very well, covering them last year. You and I both very much looking forward to year 2 of Knights football here on the PDF Sports Network. However, our pregame coverage ahead of this Week 0 matchup between the Knights and Pirates will continue after a message from our sponsors right back here on the PDF Sports Network.
You gotta check out All American Ford.
All American Ford is number 1.
All American Ford in Old Bridge is proudly family owned and operated, and we're the number 1 Ford dealership in New Jersey.
All American Ford is the tri-state area's giant auto group. They always have the largest selection, and it's not even close. All American Ford is currently offering APR financing as low as 0%, low monthly lease specials, and thousands off MSRP.
Giant selection,
Giant savings.
go G-Men, and go All American Ford.
Shop online at allamericanfordandoldbridge.com.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at EliteSPT.com or call us today to book a consultation.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Protect your family, pets, and your wallet with Anchor Pest Control. We provide coverage for all your pest removal needs, and our all-inclusive service saves you money. We've designed our services to be both comprehensive and budget-friendly for homeowners. Plus, with our premium service, you'll get a free mosquito application. See how Anchor stacks up against the competition. Visit us, anchorpestcontrol.net, or call 888-623-2847 for information and service.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network with just a few minutes to go ahead of kickoff in this matchup between Old Bridge High School and Cedar Creek High School, a Week 0 matchup in high school football. But Dave, very quickly before we get a chance to meet these two teams and they take the field, let's get a look around the National Gold Division within the Big Central Conference at some of the scores from throughout the week.
Yeah, you can see everybody else has played that plays in the National Gold Division, and it was South Plainfield beating East Brunswick, so doing the other teams a favor there at 9-7. But Monroe, a big winner over West Windsor and Plainsboro, 41-0. Piscataway against Edison. Piscataway taking care of business, 31-14, like they did last year against Edison in the first game. And then you had South Brunswick falling in a wild 41-34 game against Robbinsville. So a lot of big action all around, and Old Bridge is the team that caps the National Gold Division here today.
And with that, let's get a look at the standings in the National Gold Division and see what this game could mean for Old Bridge as you get a look at that up on your screen.
Yeah, it's obviously really early, and we saw the results here for Week 1. But as we go forward this season, we'll have the overall totals and we'll have the division totals. The division win-loss record is the one that matters as far as seeding and as far as who wins the division, obviously. But the overall record, Joe, goes a long way in gaining some power points, and we know how big those power points are at the end of the season. Obviously, if you're Old Bridge, you're playing a playoff team in Cedar Creek. Vice versa, if you're Cedar Creek, these points go a long way outside of your division to see who gets to play in the playoffs come year's end.
And it was those non-divisional games early in the year that set the stage for the Old Bridge postseason run late in the year. If you recall, last season, 3-3, Old Bridge and Monroe knotted up in the standings. That was a huge swing game. A victory in that one with a very short-handed squad propelled Old Bridge forward and on to the postseason. But as the two teams are about to take the field, we will step aside from one final message for our sponsors, and when we come back, we will have kickoff between the Knights and the Pirates right back here on the PDF Sports Network.
Celebrating 65 years, the Old Bridge Rebels Youth Organization is the longest-running and most successful youth organization, serving Old Bridge Township. The Rebels are the premier football and cheer organization with a long and rich history in coaching and developing our community's future leaders. Through proper guidance and leadership, the Rebels program assists the youth in developing the qualities of safe play, discipline, teamwork, fundamentals, and well-being. We will continue to focus on these goals while maintaining a strong presence in the community. Check us out at swsrebels.org.
For raising the standard in facility services and commercial cleaning, look to Pritchard Industries. For over 35 years, our commitment to creating clean, healthy, and safe environments is unwavering, ensuring that your facility not only looks pristine, but also promotes well-being and productivity so your business can excel. Specializing in comprehensive commercial cleaning solutions, advanced facility services, responsible sustainable practices, and innovative technology, contact us now at pritchardindustries.com. Pritchard Industries, here for you.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's Home Team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
This football season, stop by Market Boy Liquors, your hometown destination for over 20 years. Family-owned and operated, our 8,000-square-foot store features the largest beer cooler in the area, plus an unbeatable selection of wine, spirits, cigars, and craft beer. Conveniently located at 1132 Englishtown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, Market Boy Liquors is proud to serve our community with the best variety and friendly service. Call us today at 732-251-4616 and make Market Boy your game day headquarters.
We are back here on the PDF Sports Network, just moments away from kickoff in this high school football matchup between Old Bridge and Cedar Creek. Joe Foreman on the call alongside David Pizzuto for the PDF Sports Network. And in case you missed it, we will be with you all season long here on PDF, covering Old Bridge Knights high school football, both at home, on the road, and in the case of today's game, Dave, at a neutral site.
Yeah, the battle at the beach here. This is the third game on this field today, Joe, and I think there's another game after this one as well. So a full day of football for the fans here in attendance. Joe, we're going to pause just momentarily for the playing of our nation's anthem.
And we're back from our break for the national anthem here on the PDF Sports Network as we just had the opening coin toss in this matchup between Old Bridge High School and Cedar Creek High School. Dave, I know how much you love the psychology of the coin toss and the decision-making process that goes into that. Old Bridge won the toss, Old Bridge deferred to start the game.
Yeah, and that means they put their defense out on the field first. And, a coach like Matt Donahue, this is his second year as head coach. But before that, Joe, he was the team's defensive coordinator. So, he has a lot of faith and a lot of respect of his defensive unit and has full faith in them to get an early stop here. Field position and special teams, such a huge part in these games. Sometimes we don't mention them enough here, but They'll start off with the kickoff. They'll look to get their defense on and off the field quickly and get it into the hands of their playmaker, Brody Nugent, on offense. But we'll get a good chance to see this Cedar Creek offense first and, of course, the dynamic running of Amir Dunbar as well.
We saw Old Bridge face a lot of big-time running backs last year, and they did pretty well with it. We'll see if they can continue that trend here in this game. Michael Ferretto to kick off for the Knights to get us started here on the campus of Rowan University, a beautiful facility and a great way to get the season started for the Knights here on the PDF Sports Network as that kick skipped up into the air, at least I thought it did, as it is fielded deep, and tackled on that return was Frenchman Bethea. Dave, did that kick hit off the turf? We need to get a look at that again.
All right, we will indeed, and we'll try to slow it down a little bit as well to try to get us try to pick that up here. Let's see.
I thought the ball skipped off the turf. I could just be out of my mind. Nope. Out of my mind I am. First down for the Pirates to get us started. Ball at the Cedar Creek 24-yard line. They line up in the gun as we have a whistle pre-snap, and it was Bethea lined up at quarterback. He just returned that kick.
Yeah.
As his offense is flagged for a false start ahead of the game's first snap.
Yeah, and obviously not the way you want to start your first play of the season there. You go backwards 5 yards on the false start, and Cedar Creek will be in a hole to start.
A pistol look here for the Pirates. First and 15 now. They will hand off up the middle, and it's a nice run to get things started. That is Amir Dunbar, a name you've mentioned a couple of times already, Dave. He gets the game's first carry and picks up about 7.
Yeah, and that's going to feel good when you can rip off 7 yards at a time. That time he goes dead red into the heart of that Old Bridge defensive front, testing them early, and they win the battle on play number 1, at least from scrimmage, setting up a second. Still relatively long at 2nd and 8, but that's a nice job on 1st and 15.
Really tough to tell from our perspective. Would you consider this a pistol look or a shotgun look as a flag comes out for another false start? Early movement at the wideout position. That was Sandy Thomas who got moving early.
Yeah, and that's going to be their second penalty here, procedural, on the first 3 times they've lined up to perform a play. So that's something that Coach Melody is not going to like. But, yeah, we'll take a better look at this lineup here in the backfield.
Yeah, it looked like Bethea was a couple of steps in front of him on the previous snap. Now this is a more traditional shotgun look.
Right.
4 receivers on the field. That was Guy and King in motion. They look left, throw left complete, pass caught by Jameer Campfield, and he is tackled right near the sticks. I think he had enough for a first down.
Yeah, I think so. Just, falling forward there, able to extend. But, you really love this play when you have some speed on the outside and you let your wideouts do what they need to do. And as a result, they get themselves a first down on what was a 2nd down and 13. They make it look really easy, but those plays are not easy to perform. And then, of course, it takes a lot of good blocking right at the line of scrimmage to get that one going.
They sent King in motion pre-snap. That gave them an extra blocker on that left side. Once again, Cedar Creek lined up in the gun, and they will hand off to Dunbar. He's looking for a running lane and is brought down just short of the 40, and he will pick up 4 on that carry. 2nd and 6 coming up.
Yeah, and, I like what Cedar Creek is doing. If they're not going backwards, obviously, with their procedural penalties, you have to really respect the fact that, first play of the game, they run it right up the gut. Second play, they work the periphery left side of the field. This time, they run it off tackle right. So they're trying to, give a wide range of looks here to this Old Bridge defense early, keep them guessing and playing backwards as much as possible.
And when you stretch that defense horizontally, it is much tougher to defend that run up the middle. As that snap goes awry, and I think Old Bridge may have gotten on top of it. 5 Knights pile on top of the ball. Bethea was in there as well. And did he secure it? I believe he did at the bottom of that pile.
Yeah, we're gonna get another look at it, Joe, here, but it never got to him, and I think the motion may have, impeded this ball getting there as well. Look, it almost like Guyan almost intercepted it on the way in.
I don't think it hit him. I think it hit one of the guards. It looked like maybe the guard pulled early, but then that would be a false start if you pull ahead of the snap. If you get a look at it on replay, I think they snapped it off of one of the offensive linemen.
Yeah, it could be. It just looked like it got held up, whatever it was.
It never made it into the offensive backfield.
It does result in a loss of 4, so we're back here 3rd and 10.
Shotgun look once again. But they will look to throw. He's flushed out to his right, still has some time, looking over the middle, picked off, and this may go back the other way. Xavier Diaz, with one man to beat along the sideline, is forced out of bounds inside the Pirates' 20-yard line.
Well, you're not quite throwing across your body entirely, but this is a dangerous pass to put in the middle of the field when you're on the run going left to right. You could see scampering was Bethea, and just as an ill-advised pass. If you hang it up there, unless that's a smoking dart, it's going to get picked off or, at the very least, deflected away. But Xavier Diaz doing the job, and how about this to set your offense up 1st and 10 just inside the red zone.
Time and time again, this Old Bridge defense came up with huge plays defensively last season. They have one on the first defensive drive against them here in 2025.
Nugent wants to get another look at his sideline before running this play, as they're going to look to reset here at the line of scrimmage, and now we have a stoppage.
And I think Old Bridge had to call timeout there. And they do indeed take their first time out. So we saw a couple of false starts on the opening drive for Cedar Creek. They did not use any timeouts to try and talk things over. And ahead of Old Bridge taking their first offensive snap, they're forced to call for time.
Yeah, and it's all a result of this play right here. And, we talked about both of these defenses doing great jobs. And you could see it's the pressure that forces Bethea to roll out initially. He thinks he has an open receiver there, but that ball has to travel too great a distance into the middle of the field. And Diaz there to make the play to set Old Bridge up with some quality field position here on their opening drive.
Old Bridge will begin this possession at the Cedar Creek 19-yard line. Early red zone chance for the Knights. Nugent in the shotgun. And he will keep it as he rolls to his right and picks up good yardage on the ground as he's forced out of bounds just short of the 15.
Yeah, pretty solid there. Gain of 4 yards on the play. And should mention, Joe, that in at tailback, Griffin Nugent was in the backfield with his brother, and Nugent taking the place of Chase Rizzo, who's out today. Chase, usually the starting running back here in his second season, will not play today.
And there's a handoff up the middle, and immediately stood up for a short gain of maybe a yard was Nugent.
Yeah, and that's going to set up a 3rd and manageable here, and this is where having Brody Nugent in your backfield calling plays, as Old Bridge wants to work quickly here. This is what it benefits having a mobile quarterback. Let's see if they get him on the run here, Joe.
4 receivers to the left of the formation. One of them is Griffin Nugent, who is a halfback. Watch for a potential motion here into the offensive backfield. And here he comes toward the line of scrimmage. And
he was moving.
Yeah, I think they got the receiver wide to the right. That was Amari Allsbrook. I think that's where the movement was.
Yeah, that's a big 5-yard penalty because that makes you a little bit more one-dimensional here. The way Nugent can run with the football, it's not a guarantee that he won't take off on a design run here. But still, this is a little bit easier for the Pirates to contend with defensively because now you can kind of sit back and spy on the quarterback here, not let him out of your sights, and play pass all the way.
Nugent rolling to his left on the design rollout, running out of time along the sideline, and he heaves one toward the end zone, and he's picked off. Guyan King with the INT this time, and he will give himself up at the 5-yard line.
Well, I'll trade you one, rollout interception for another. How about that as a wash on things that went on in the opening possession. And this time, it looked to me like Nugent wanted to run all the way here. But once that linebacker comes up to meet him, Nugent says, my only shot here is to put it up. And that was a 50-50 ball, and Guy and King had the better positioning and makes the play. Ball given right back. The only silver lining here, Joe, is that Cedar Creek has to start way deep in their own side of the field. That ball spotted just inside that 5-yard line stripe.
Really tough mentally to decide I'm giving myself up in the end zone right away for the touchback. And King began his run back before realizing there was nothing there, as the Pirates will hand off behind left guard. And there is a nice run on first down to give his offense some breathing room. That was Dunbar once again on the carry.
Yeah, and, I think if you're Cedar Creek, you want to see a healthy diet of Dunbar today, especially in this area of the field where you want to grind out the yards here. You want to give it to your big running back. He's a senior this year, coming off a 14-touchdown season, and this is the things that the leadership that he'll give you. He's not dead to rights at the line of scrimmage, powers forward for another 5 yards, gets him 6 altogether on the play.
2nd down and 4 now. Pirates lined up in the I formation as they hand off to the fullback. And Justice Payton was taken down hard right at the line of scrimmage. I don't think he picked up anything on that play, maybe a yard.
Yeah, if that, but they look like he's just going to be short of the 11-yard line, so they'll keep the sticks right there. But, this is a Old Bridge team that, they bent a little bit last season, Joe, but they very rarely broke, and they did a pretty nice job against both the run and the pass pretty evenly. They got hit for some big, running games from teams before, but when it comes to giving up the big play, they've been pretty stout.
A big 3rd down coming up here.
Yep.
Pirates could easily surrender quality field position if they don't convert. And Bathea's running out of time. He avoids one tackler, takes off up the field, and picks up the 1st down.
Yeah, and in order to do that, he had to get away from the rusher, Michael Kavas, and that's not an easy thing to do. But that's a nice job by Bethea on the run. He, too, I think, was looking to run this the entire way, Joe. I don't think he wanted to put the ball in harm's way. Not when he threw an interception the last time he threw the ball, but it depends on that move right there. And, if you're Kavas there, I don't know if you want to take that angle towards the quarterback. Keep him moving east and west. Wait for your teammates to arrive.
And a flag comes out once again. We'll see if they got them for a delay of game or another false start. But going back to that last play very quickly, it looked like Christopher Benford had an angle on the edge. However, he was forced to pick up the tight end who was running to the flat on a receiving pattern short. And because he could not help Kavas in containing that edge, Kavas was put on an island one-on-one with the quarterback. You'll see it here on the replay. Benford on that edge immediately had to whip his head around and keep an eye on the tight end. That might have even been one of the backs. Yeah. I think that was the fullback, Payton.
Yeah, Justice Payton.
Though a lot of fullbacks do double as tight ends, as that one is picked off. A quick throw, once again intercepted by Old Bridge. This time it is Justin Birch.
Wow, Joe, absolutely.
Flag out on the play.
Yeah, now Birch had a great angle on that as well, and it looked like that ball kind of jumped up and bit him right in front of his eyes. As that flag did come down late, so I think this play is going to stand. But before we show a replay, we're going to get the call on the field and pay attention to the white hat here.
And it's going to go against the Pirates here. Though their offense is heading back, so hold on a second.
Nope.
I think it's just players who are on both sides of the ball, Dave.
Yeah, well, the only signal was pointed in the direction of
It is Old Bridge
Creek.
football.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a lot of players who stayed out there to play defense. I didn't pick that up on the first change of possession, but that ball a bit off target. Still a tight window to throw into with Birch right behind the intended receiver on the play.
Yeah, and I think there was a personal foul at the end of that, Joe, because Old Bridge is getting the ball back, but now they've backed this one up all the way to the 27-yard line after it being spotted at about the 12. So, indeed, a 15-yard penalty at the end of that play. That's actually pretty big against the Knights.
No question, because I think they had him out at about the 7 or 8 yard line.
Well, it was the 11. It was the 12, actually.
12.
They backed him up 15 yards.
Got it. And Nugent will keep here, and he's brought down by the face mask. And they'll get the 15 yards right back, and then some on the carry by Nugent.
Yeah, after a gain of 5 yards. And again, this is a design run right from the jump. We'll get a good chance to see the face mask as well that comes at the end of this, even though Old Bridge is looking to line up pretty quickly here. We'll get you back to live action as soon as we start.
And you'll see it right there. Nugent brought down by the face mask right in front of the official. They aren't going to miss those.
Yeah, so an automatic first down will set them up. It was a 5-yard penalty, but added to the end of the run, it sets them up at the 17-yard line, 1st and 10.
First down Knights. Once again, 4 receivers set out wide to the right. Nugent creeps a bit closer to the line of scrimmage as he backs up into the shotgun. Allsbrook in motion, and Allsbrook will take the handoff. He was surrounded by Pirates that did a good job to pick up a couple on that play as he's tackled at the 15.
Yeah, this is an option for Nugent. He could tuck this one down and take it up the middle, or he could decide to give it underneath, and he makes the decision there. We'll see what he sees at the time of passing this one off, and felt like Allsbrook had the better angle there, and at least they power forward for 2.
The amount of receivers on the field, there were a lot of defenders in the box. They are paying close attention to the offensive backfield of Old Bridge, and rightfully so, as Nugent will keep rolling to his right, and he throws complete. That's caught by Mercado, and he's forced out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. That is good for a first down.
Yeah, remember, Nugent is a lefty quarterback, so this is not the easiest thing to do, to roll out to your right and throw with your left hand across the angle of your body, and it was thrown on a line. It was a great pass, and ended up right where it should be. Good route here, 7 yards, and turn out, and now they go 1st and goal here on this next set of downs.
And I'm glad you made that point about the left-handed quarterback rolling to his right. I noted last year Nugent is very adept at doing that, and I'm surprised at how many plays are designed to get him rolling that way. 4 players in the offensive backfield here on 1st and goal. Actually, they're just outside the 5, and Nugent hit up high. Did he get in?
Just short, it looks like.
And they will mark him just short. He took a big shot on that play, Dave.
He took a big shot, but 3 players in the backfield, Joe, setting blocks for Nugent all the way. We're going to slow it down a tad. And
we're going to get a look at one more run up the middle by Nugent here. And he is in for the first Knights touchdown of the 2025 season.
All right, we missed it a little bit, Joe, but we're going to back it up here. And we'll get you the full breadth of this.
This Old Bridge offense, very adept at the hurry-up, very adept at finding creative ways to keep the football in their quarterback's hands on rushing attempts. And on that drive, they stack the offensive backfield with Nugent +3, and he powers it in for a Knights touchdown. They go in front 6-0.
Yep, and this was another part of the Old Bridge attack here that was very good last season, points after touchdowns.
And they made that one look easy. Extra point up and good by Ferretto. And with that, the Knights go in front 7-0. About 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
Well, Joe, if you get starting field position at your opponent's 19 and then at your opponent's 25-yard line, you need to come out with points, plain and simple. And the Knights did not do that on drive number 1, but drive number 2, they left very little to doubt there. Power run game with Nugent at the focal point of it all. He made the one good pass as well to get them into goal-to-goal territory. That's a good cap to that drive by the Knights, who you have to think right now deserve to be with the lead, Joe, with the way the field position battle has taken place. And now they're up 7-0 with 4:04 to go in the first quarter.
And on that last drive, it looked like the Pirates were beginning to work their way out of a really precarious spot right in front of their own end zone. They picked up the first down, and things looked a bit more positive in terms of the outlook for their last possession and field position, more importantly. However, the interception shifted that very quickly. The Knights took over. And even following a personal foul, they had great starting field position on that last drive. They make the most of it as you get one more look at Nugent taking that in for a touchdown.
Yep, and, right now you have to wonder what's going on in the head of number 4, Frenchman Bethea. Last 2 times he's put the ball in the air, he's been picked off.
The ball now in the hands of Camfield on the return. It's a big one. He's across the 40, and spins down to the turf just shy of the 45-yard line, but we do have a flag down. I think that flag is down anyway. Look by that Rowan logo. I think there was a flag.
Yes,
there is.
Right,
okay.
The 19-yard line, right.
That one blended in really well with the yellow of that RU logo, but we picked it up just barely.
Yeah, we'll get another chance to see it. And there was an Old Bridge player. I think it was Osbrook who took a shot there right where Campfield makes that block right there.
There's a block in the back.
The 20-yard line, right.
And a very unnecessary block in the back. They didn't need to do it.
So what could have been a 1st and 10 at your own 43-yard line is now going to be 1st and 10 from your own 9. So if you do the math, that's a 34-yard penalty, essentially. And here we go again. The Cedar Creek, from the shadows of their own goalposts, have to get themselves out of this field position hole at the very least and try to switch the field here on the Knights.
If you're not careful, this very quickly could become a 2-score game. Pre-snap motion here. Campfield takes the short pitch. Makes one man miss, breaks it outside, still going, and he's brought down just past the 15.
Yeah, very eventful 6-yard gain there, but that's promising a play there. If you're a Pirates fan, of course, you get your talent players into open space and allow them to make guys miss. It's what you rely on here, high school football. Just make the plays, and it's a nice little seam there. And Old Bridge does actually a pretty good job of getting to the ball carrier, even with some of these juke moves.
They were there to begin that play, and once Campfield broke that first tackle, he picked up some quality yardage on first down as they will hand off up the middle, and immediately Dunbar collides with a mass of bodies as he's about a yard or two short of a first down.
Yeah, but you get a sense of Dunbar's strength and size, and when you're giving it to him, you're expecting him to just, at the very least, pull forward and get 2 yards, and that's exactly what he does here. He pulls forward, impact right at the line of scrimmage, but is still able to extend the body forward and is 1 yard short of a first down. Obviously not surprised here if they run that same play over again on the opposite side of the offensive line.
And look at this heavy set. It's 3rd and less than a yard, and they will hand off to Dunbar, who tried to go up and over, was stifled, and a flag comes out. The Knights think he is short. That was really close, Dave, but how about that play call inside of your own 20-yard line to try and leap over the pile with your star running back?
Well, the Knights anticipated it and met them right at the top of that jump, as we're going to get an extra slowed down view of this one here. But that's exactly what they did. They ran the same exact play the opposite side and stood up big.
I don't think he got it.
Personal foul on the Knights was the call, and it's going to be an automatic first down for Cedar Creek.
I have to think they got one of the defenders for leaving their feet to administer a hit.
Yeah.
But what can you really do there if the back's going up and over?
Right. Unless you're leading with that helmet up there, and it's helmet to helmet that you've left your feet with.
Let's run that back in slow motion one more time, see if we can spot it.
All right.
I think that's a really tough call. We might not have time for a slow motion look, but I think we have a stoppage here, so indeed we will.
Yeah, not as slow here, but let's see it. Oh, I don't know. There's no leaving the feet there.
Well, if they called it on 42, I think that's awful.
Yeah.
That would be Tommy Kasoff.
Well, Joe, they're measuring here, so I don't know if maybe they've picked up the flag or not. We just heard timeout for a measurement on the field, but if you just call the personal foul on Old Bridge, why would you need to measure? Unless you've picked up the flag.
I think if they picked it up, that's the right decision.
I think so too.
Looking at that replay, no defender left his feet, and I don't even think there was a lead with the helmet there. So,
yeah, and one of the great things about being here at Rowan here is that they have the officials mic'd up, and we were able to hear. And there is a first down on the play. We were able to hear the actual call, and they definitely called personal foul on Old Bridge, 15 yards first down. But I guess they picked up the flag. They measure for the first down. It is indeed a first down, and so they'll have it 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line.
They did not pick that up by more than a chain link, Dave.
Yeah. Right, and, if you're the Knights, even though you give up the first down there, you got to be building some confidence here defensively because, Cedar Creek has thrown 2 interceptions here. They're going to have to run the ball a great deal, and Old Bridge is starting to get home on some of these runs defensively.
Pre-snap motion once again, handoff to King. He's forced all the way to the outside and no running room to be found. Jason Benford in on the tackle, and that will go for a loss of 3.
Yeah, but you know who makes this play too, Joe? Chris Benford, number 33. He is the left defensive end, and take a look at how he strings out the ball carrier here all the way to the right. That helps his teammates make the play. There is Benford there setting the edge, and because he sets that edge, it forces Dunbar to go all the way around him to try and break that off, and instead it's going to be a 3-yard loss.
He set that edge much like he did on that attempted run earlier by Bethea. He was then forced into coverage, and that allowed Bethea to pick up the first down on the ground. That came on the last drive. Here Bethea will hand off up the middle. Dunbar bounces it outside, has some room, and he's brought down just short of the 25-yard line as they get about half of what they needed, maybe a bit more, and it will be 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, you used the right word there, Joe. Bounced. He bounced off that first blocker, did Dunbar, and was able to get it, 7 yards after that first little bump that he received right there. And it was on his own offensive lineman, but still, that could derail you sometimes as a running back. But Dunbar, of course, laser focused, turns it up for a healthy gain. It's going to be a 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Another big 3rd down here for Cedar Creek. They've been deep in their own territory for much of this game. High snap. Bethea reels it in, picks up the first down, and is met in the open field by Nugent. That's a big tackle there. If Nugent doesn't bring him down, he may still be running.
Yeah, well, you get a sense of Bethea's speed, and that's why he runs back kickoffs as well. But it's a good open field tackle by Nugent, but this was a first down all the way, a no-doubter, and a good block there by Dunbar as well. Did you see that block, Joe, by Dunbar on the edge?
Not an easy assignment there, trying to block a linebacker, but Dunbar is a pretty big back.
Yep, absolutely flattened his mark there, and Cedar Creek's best field position of the game. They're at their own 34.
First down for the Pirates, and they will hand off. Dunbar, working his way toward the sideline, is brought down. Give him 2, maybe 3 on that play. 2nd down.
Yeah, still, though, this is good, methodical football by Cedar Creek. I think that was going to be the last play of the quarter, Joe, as we have just about 10 seconds to go here before they switch the field.
I think if you're Cedar Creek, you like this drive so far. You've steadied the ship a bit, no pun intended, with them being the Pirates, but you've steadied the ship a bit, and I think you can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, because if you did not convert on that 3rd down and were forced to go for it on 4th, or perhaps even forced to punt if that play went in the wrong direction, all of a sudden you're in a really tough spot. The Knights with the football, already up by a possession. And if you're Cedar Creek now, you get a chance to talk things over between quarters. It is only a 1-possession game, and you're driving as you're approaching midfield now with the ball just outside of your own 35.
Yeah, you still haven't gotten the ball back to where the initial kickoff was run back to, so that's a positive if you're the Knights. But, Joe, while we have this little break in the action, we want to thank some of our sponsors, and one of them is the Candied Ham softball program, established in 2017. They are a proud sponsor of Old Bridge football. We want to thank all the folks at Candied Ham. Go check them out, CandiedHam_official at Instagram right now. Thank you guys for all of your support throughout the season here at Old Bridge.
Plenty of great sponsors that we'll get to hear from throughout this game and throughout the rest of the season here in our coverage of Old Bridge Knights football. As we always say, if you can, support their businesses, because without them, these broadcasts certainly are not possible. They're the ones who sign the paychecks, Dave, effectively sponsoring the program. That money goes to endeavors just like this one, and we're very thankful for them and for the opportunity to call games for the Old Bridge High School Knights. And for the Knights, if you're a fan of them, you have to be feeling pretty good after that first quarter, Dave. Nugent gambled a bit. It was one-on-one coverage. It was 3rd and long from a spot where it would be a long kick. That interception hurts, but not quite the same as those Cedar Creek interceptions. And then on the second drive, we saw what we've been accustomed to seeing from this Old Bridge offense. Good work on the ground, enough balance in that offensive attack. They put it in the air, just enough to keep the defense honest. And when they got close to the goal line, it was all Nugent as he carried it in for a rushing touchdown.
Well, I think one of the most important things, Joe, about that quarter, and it doesn't even have to do with the scoreboard right now, is the fact that every play was run on the Cedar Creek side of the field. And when you're doing things like that for an entire quarter, both offensively and defensively, that's going to lead to good things. I'm sure head coach Donahue would love to, have a 2-score lead at this point, but when you run every play inside your opponent's end of the field, that's a positive here. Cedar Creek working out of that jam a little bit here on this drive. Let's see if it continues here on 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 for the Pirates is a handoff and a good cut to the outside there by Dunbar, who's brought down, and he picked up about 2, maybe 3. Looks like a 3rd and 5 coming up, and once again, the Pirates on their own end of the field have a 3rd down, trying to swing this battle of field position just a bit.
Yeah, and the Knights getting hats to the ball that time. They had Diaz there, and Justin Valinati, one of the Jersey's leading tacklers last season, makes a good one there. And to me, it always looks like Dunbar has more space than maybe, anticipated. The Knights are getting there pretty quick to close up some of those holes. But this is another one of those 3rd and mediums where Cedar Creek has a lot of options here. Last time it was Bethea who ran it himself. Let's see what they do here.
Trips to the left on 3rd down and 5. Bethea in the shotgun, looking to his left, completes the screen. King looking for room, and he picks up the 1st down.
Wow, what a block by Campfield up the field. Jameer Campfield, he's the widest wide receiver on this play. And, sometimes you say, oh, he's holding. No, that's just good blocking down the field right at the point of attack. And, you're holding your guy up. And that's the reason for the 1st down right there. You give kudos to the pass catcher. But if not for that blocking, no first on that play.
And I think in the year of high school football that we've covered, we've seen it. A lot of these wideouts have to be adept blockers for these schemes to be successful. We've seen a lot of teams that like to utilize those quick screen passes as a big part of their offense. And speaking of a big part of this Pirates offense, Dunbar up the middle, and he is just short of a 1st down. Give him 9 on the 1st down run.
Yeah, and exactly, Joe, what you said about the downfield blocking, but then you have some of the upfront stuff that's going on here, and that's got to make you feel good as a Pirates fan here, is seeing Dunbar hit the hole with some pace, running downhill, getting through that initial hole, and then when you get to that second level, it's just power versus power, and Dunbar wins the battle there for a gain of 9, 2nd and short.
And they will hand off. Once again, it's Dunbar up the middle. And he stood up after a short gain, but the 3-yard pickup is enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, again, just if you're the offensive team, you just get a hat on a hat here and let Dunbar power forward. It's nothing fancy, but this is how power run games operate here. They just methodical, keep that defense on the field, keep them huffing and puffing. You're starting to see some of the Knights with some, hands on hips now as – it's pretty warm down there. It's a beautiful day here at Rowan, but pretty warm on field level. And if you're a defender here, you don't like the looks of this kind of a drive.
Pirates began this possession deep in their own territory. Once again, we've seen that multiple times already as Bethea will keep. And he is tied up just across the line of scrimmage. Give him a yard on the carry as he's brought down at the Old Bridge 39.
Yeah, we haven't seen Cedar Creek run a lot of the option that time, but that time Bethea, feigns the handoff there, keeps it himself, and opts to go up the middle of the field, takes a pretty good whack right at the line of scrimmage, gets the yard, but those hits hurt over time.
That was dangerous, Dave. His legs got all sorts of tied up in that pile at the bottom beneath multiple defenders, and he got taken down from above the belt, and those can end badly. Fortunately, no ill effects of that last tackle for Bethea. 2nd and 9 here. He's in the shotgun and will look to throw. Clean pocket. Now flushed out to his right under pressure. Avoids one tackler. He takes off toward the sideline and is chased down from behind by Kasoff.
What a gorgeous play by Kasoff there. Again, it doesn't look like he has the angle, Joe, but he's got that big frame, that wide body, and Kasoff able to extend and trip up Bethea for a loss on the play.
A loss of 3 will bring up, or make it 4. 3rd down and 13. And that is great backside pursuit by Kasoff there to track down Bethea and make sure he couldn't turn it up the field, because if he doesn't get him, There was some room up the sideline. Not first down yardage kind of room, but enough to make it a 3rd down and short.
A couple of times Bethea pumped, too, so you wonder what's going on in his head, Joe, about wanting to release that football into traffic.
Trips to the left here on 3rd and long. Bethea looking that way, throws one deep up the left sideline, and a flag is going to come out on that play, no doubt about it. Looks like Birch is the guilty party as he yanked King straight down.
Yeah, and I think what hurt Birch there is that King stopped his route, and I think Birch, unintentionally at first ran into him, but then never looked back for the ball either, and that didn't help him one bit. Automatic 1st down coming up.
Here's one more look at it. As you get a look at that route concept, it looked like King, working between the other 2 receivers, took a wheel pattern up toward the sideline. And, if he doesn't yank him down, I think he does have a play on that ball because Birch was never looking. I think King had a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't like King stopped his route, like I said before. It's more about he had to jettison more to the ball and near the hash mark, and by cutting his route early, that's what forced a lot of that contact.
1st down for the Pirates as this lengthy drive continues. It's Dunbar, and he works upfield. Gain of about 5 on that carry after he made the first man miss.
Yeah, and this is what you love. Again, just going back to that same point about a power running game, the deeper you get into these drives, the softer and softer that defensive front becomes. And it's not a knock on the Knights. It's just a process of being on the field for a long time. And when you're ripping off 5- and 6-yard carries, you're going to have a lot of success here as they are flirting with the red zone here are the Pirates.
Trips to the left once again. You have to watch out for that screen pass here if you're Old Bridge, and instead Bethea will keep. No running room whatsoever on that one.
He has taken some shots too, Joe.
Yeah, they've gone low to bring him down quickly, and when you do that, it is tough for a quarterback to go down that way with the first defender making contact down around the shin pads, maybe down around the knees, and then you get taken out from up high.
Yeah. Old saying defensively is if you're going to tackle somebody, make them feel you. Make them feel your presence, and they are coming in hot on Bethea, loosening him up a little bit, and now it's another big 3rd down. Cedar Creek is perfect here on these 3rd down conversions, although they did get the last one via penalty. See what happens here as we might have a discussion that Coach Melody wants to have indeed. Cedar Creek takes their first time out.
The question mark every time that a team works inside the 25-yard line is how much confidence do they have in their kicker? Would they go for it on a potential 4th down? And ahead of a 3rd down snap, whether or not you're willing to kick in a situation where you don't pick up any yardage, that effectively dictates what you would call here, I think. Yeah. Because if you have 2 plays to get it, the run is certainly on the table. If not, then that, of course, changes things. So very curious to see how this plays out, and especially if it comes to a 4th down, are the Pirates going to look to kick?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how confident are you in your kicking game, A, and B, at what area of the field does that confidence, begin? And, from here, now, Old Bridge, they kicked some long field goals last year, but we didn't see a lot of Old Bridge's opponents go for some long field goals. This would be, if they were stopped right here, this would be about a 40-yard field goal. So you'd like to think that's a little bit beyond the range of a lot of these high school kickers. So this is 4 down territory, in my opinion, without a doubt, here for Cedar Creek.
It is a 3rd and 4. They in the shotgun. Design rollout to his left. He throws that way complete. And a good tackle to prevent Campfield from turning up the field by Noah Rios.
Yeah, and you have to respect Bethea, and you have to respect his speed. And so you can't just bail out on the receiving routes. But that time, Campfield just kind of setting up, knows where the 1st down marker is, showing for his quarterback who's on the run. That's a nice play there by the wideout, and a good job by Bethea to get him the football. He hasn't really thrown the ball down the field, Joe, since throwing that 2nd interception. The passes before that were more in the periphery and in the flat. Of course, he did have the long pass on the penalty, but that was really the first time they've looked down the field for a 1st down.
And they do so with success to set up a 1st and 10 at the 15. Sidearm delivery there by Bethea. Has a man in the flat, and that will go for a touchdown. Justice Payton off the quick swing pass from Bethea. And how about that sidearm delivery, Dave?
Oh, absolutely, Joe. This is just a thing of beauty, and it starts with this awesome pass here by Bethea. Just slinging it like a gunslinger there. You know the pressure's coming, outstretched arms, perfectly played by the defense, but a perfect pass to Payton. He's able not only to catch it, but to catch it in stride and with a full head of steam towards the end zone.
What a drive by the Pirates. They took that one nearly the full length of the field. As that extra point is up and good to tie the score at 7. And I think that is quite the statement drive from Cedar Creek after falling behind by 7 and throwing a couple of interceptions early.
Yeah, I could be mistaken, Joe, but I think 91-yard drive. I think they started at their own 9-yard line. And to cap it off in this way, of course, they got the benefits of a pass interference on this drive as well. But all credit to the Pirates here. Never having run a play in Old Bridge territory in the first quarter. They were very methodical on that drive. And, Joe, I really, more than anything else, I really love the mix of run and pass, and I love the mix of who's running the football as well. It was a healthy dose of both Dunbar and Bethea on that drive. And the way they cap it, a thing of beauty.
That was a really well-balanced offensive possession, as you just said, Dave. And I think, given how this one started, to find a way to move the ball, by our estimation, 91 yards on that drive without putting too much on your quarterback's arm is really impressive, because early in the game you throw a couple of interceptions, you might be hesitant to air it out again. They did just enough in the passing game, and we know what this team can do in the running game. You mentioned the big numbers coming into this game for Dunbar over the course of his illustrious career. He was heavily featured, but they, as you mentioned, featured on the ground as well, and I like what they did, getting him on the move, setting him up for some easier throws, and even though that touchdown was just a swing pass, the Old Bridge pass rush made that a very difficult, otherwise routine completion. It looked like it would be a simple one, not so much with the pass rush bearing down.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Joe, and they only leave 5.5 minutes left on the clock here in the second quarter. So that drive started in the later stages of the first quarter, as they'll move the ball up to the 40 here, and they took 6+ minutes of the second quarter as well. So talk about a nice game of keep away here. That's precisely what Cedar Creek was able to do with that drive.
And going back to the big decision on the coin toss for Old Bridge deferring, that looms a bit larger now. You could potentially double dip to end the half. They'll look for a good return to get things started here, as this one is brought out across the 25 and out to just shy of the 30-yard line. That was Allsbrook on the return.
Yeah, so now we get to see Old Bridge for the first time have to set up from really their own side of the field. They haven't run a lot of plays as an offense. They haven't had to. When you start the first drive of the game at the Cedar Creek 19-yard line, they started the second drive, I think, at the 27. So now they have to go the length of the field again. So, you know, it's funny. On the last Cedar Creek drive, I was thinking to myself, all the Pirates really need to do here is switch fields. But they get points, and they're able to switch field. A 2-for-1 win on that last drive. Let's see what Old Bridge can do offensively.
Nugent lined up in the shotgun. He will send Nugent in motion to his right. And Nugent will keep here, makes a couple of men miss, and picks up about 3 yards on that first down carry. Nice job to escape the offensive backfield by Nugent and pick up a few.
Yeah, and a nice job by the Pirates defensively as well, too, Joe, because they're not allowing Nugent to really operate in open space. And Old Bridge is looking to work quickly, so we'll get you out of this replay momentarily, but just not a lot of room and escapability here for Nugent.
He's in the shotgun here, looking to throw on second down, and he will throw it away wisely so. No openings there along the near sideline, and that will bring up third.
There's another example, Joe, of running to your right to throw with your left hand. That's not an easy thing to do if you're Nugent, but it's one of the reasons why, as a defense, you have to be ready for everything against this junior slinger here in Brody Nugent. Now, again, that time there was nothing developing, so Nugent decides to throw it away. Live to see another play here, third down and a long 6.
Stop here Pirates offense gets a chance to get back out there and right back to work as Nugent will keep, and he will take off for the end zone. Brody Nugent to the 10-5, touchdown Knights.
No doubt, Joe. And just as we were saying how Cedar Creek has done a good job of bottling him out, not allowing him into open space, look at how easily Nugent is able to get to the second level here, Joe. And once he does, goodbye. You're not catching him, at least not from behind you're not. And that's it. He's just gone and untouched for that touchdown run.
Never a chance once he got in the open field. And as you said, Dave, never a doubt once he broke free in the second level, you are not going to chase down the Old Bridge signal caller from behind on a rush like that one. And staring in the face of a potential 3-and-out. The Knights instead put 6 on the board and go back in front, 13-7, pending this extra point, which is up and good. Old Bridge back in front by 7, our score, 14-7, Knights on top.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there have been some really great plays on third down in this game, and here's another one to add to the list. 66 yards, 67 yards to the house here, and just look at the great wedge that was created for Nugent to run through, and then it's just a foot race from there. You're not going to find a lot of guys in high school football who are going to be able to catch up to Brody Nugent, one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks in New Jersey this season, and Old Bridge has got him. He's only a junior as well.
He did great things last year, and in addition to what he was able to do when they were without him, this offense did not miss a beat all season long. The defense was fantastic, and it was really after that Week 1 game that the defense really took off. There was a shootout early in the season that we covered here on PDF. That was against Woodbridge. They fell just short. And then from there, the defense seemingly got better and better and better each week. Even in defeat during the postseason, they only allowed 16 points. And if I'm not mistaken, I think one of those scores came off a special teams miscue. I just watched the game back recently, but I watched back every game, so the details get muddled together every once in a while. But I do believe one of the scores in that game came directly as the result of a special teams miscue, if I remember correctly. Old Bridge now will kick off with just over 4.5 minutes to go in the first half, and that will skip through the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, Joe, and, a lot of coaches will tell you, especially at the beginning of a year, some of these schools haven't even started classes yet, when they're playing their first games, is it always takes a little longer for offenses to come together than for defenses. You usually expect your defense to be a little bit further along, and especially in a year like last year where Old Bridge had so much youth on both sides, it was really remarkable how quickly they came together and started playing really good football early in the season. You don't expect that from really young teams, but they were able to answer the call. It's one of the reasons why they were able to make the playoffs last year and why they have a lot of attention being put on them this year as one of the big teams to beat in the Big Central.
Pirates in the shotgun will hand off to Dunbar. He makes one man miss and crosses the 20-yard line, getting out to the 22. Pickup of 2 on first down.
And it's amazing, after that long drive by Cedar Creek, the Knights get 7 back the other way in just under a minute. And as far as game time, Joe, as Cedar Creek takes over with 4.5 minutes to go here in this second quarter. So back, can you afford to be methodical on a drive like this here inside of 4 minutes counting down? Let's see what Cedar Creek can do, having to play with a little bit more pace.
Bethea throws downfield, complete. Campfield goes up right in between a pair of Knights defenders and brings it in. He's brought down at the 40. First down, Pirates.
All right, well, if Bethea, if it was in his head throwing those 2 interceptions, I think it's out of his head now. That was a gorgeous throw in a nice window of a pocket there between a couple of defenders making the play. And that's just a nice throw, nice catch in traffic to hold on to it. You're going to take a hit. If you're Campfield, then good job.
That is a great throw in the midst of 3 defenders playing zone coverage. Dropped it right in the window there between 3 Knights. First down. Bethea looking downfield, throws over the middle, and I think his man, King, on that play saved the interception by getting his hand up and deflecting that one, and that's a good heads-up play by the Pirates wideout.
Yeah, and I don't think his intentions were to bat it down, Joe, but that's essentially what he did. Otherwise, there were a pair of defenders hanging out, in the high zone there that were ready to pick this one off and then run it back. But this is just an overthrow. And, a good read. That's the right read there. King is open and is showing there in the middle of the field. But if he doesn't get his fingertips on that one, it's going back the other way.
And that would have been a big gain if they completed it. King had room to run as well. Once again, Cedar Creek in the shotgun. Still plenty of time as Bethea rolls to his right on the design rollout. And he runs out of room as he's brought down in the Old Bridge bench. I thought maybe they got on top of him a bit late right in front of the official, but no flag, and it will be second down.
Yeah, that's just a good job taking the angle to Joe on this play, as it's going to bring up 3rd and long here. But, yeah, it's a good job. If you cut that angle too quickly, he's able to get to the outside. But Bethea just kept stringing it out. He didn't have any receivers on that side really showing in his direction. So that was going to be a run from the jump. And now here's another example, Joe. 3rd and long. Can the Knights get off the field? They were hit by a couple of big plays on the last drive. Of course, that big penalty there on the pass interference extended drives. You got your opponents here on a 3rd and long situation. Just over 3 minutes to go. Let's see what they do here.
Big opportunity here for Old Bridge. Pirates with trips to the left, shows screen. Bethea avoids the rush, throws downfield, incomplete. And not really much of a window there. He was looking for Sandy Thomas. I'm not sure if that screen was a diversion, but they had it set up on the near side, and immediately Bethea had to scramble away from it.
Well, we talk about Old Bridge's ability to get to the quarterback. They haven't done it yet today, but they gave Bethea as much of a disruption as possible here, and they got 2 and 3 guys in deep. Bethea, of course, a little uneasy as he threw that. He misses high again on that play. It forces our first punt of the game.
So I think they tried to draw the defender in with the illusion of the screen there, as that punt is sent across the 40. It takes a Cedar Creek bounce, picked up by Diaz, and he's quickly tackled at the 33-yard line of Old Bridge. Make it the 34. And that is where they will get this drive started with 2:41 to go in the second quarter.
All things considered, a good job here by the Cedar Creek Pirates to get this punt off. You see the skip there, and it takes a nice bounce as well, about 10 yards up the field. And Diaz does everything he can there, sets them up in decent field position at the 34-yard line. But just like you said, Joe, just under 3 minutes to go here, 2:40. You have to go 65-plus yards. You know they can do it with the big play and the wheels of Nugent, but let's see if they can manage the clock well here on this drive.
Old Bridge with it at their own 34. 4 receivers to the right as Nugent fakes the handoff, keeps it, and goes down. Big loss of 4 yards on the first down keeper. And we'll see here if the Pirates look to potentially use some timeouts.
Yeah, and the Knights want to play quickly and with pace, and we'll get you back to live action in a moment, but you can see Nugent that time getting swallowed up. And, again, he gets to the second level, can make great things happen, but you can't get there with pressure like that.
Second and long. Once again, 4 receivers to the right of Nugent, who lines up in the gun, and I think wisely Old Bridge is going to take their time snapping this football.
Yeah, we're under 2 minutes officially now.
Took me long enough to realize there was no 2-minute warning in high school last year. I think it took my second or third game before I realized it. The situation didn't come up. False start called against Old Bridge here, and they'll back up 5 more. So now it's 2nd and 19. And if you're Cedar Creek with 2 timeouts, you have to be thinking, let's get this football back and try and make something happen.
Yeah, I think this play is going to determine that, Joe. If Old Bridge just runs the ball here, if they hand it off or Nugent goes off tackle, gains 4 or 5 yards, I'm calling a timeout if I'm Coach Melody. I think it's pretty obvious here. You have 2 timeouts here, and you're able to stop the clock.
I think more than anything, your emphasis is forcing the other side to punt the ball.
Right.
Nugent looking left, throws complete, and Allsbrook stayed in bounds. He was forced out, and the clock will continue to run. That's a big call.
Yeah, now he gains about 7 on the play, so it's still going to be 3rd down and very long coming up. And Old Bridge, again, taking their time here as we are at 1:15 to go.
No timeout was called, so it looks like Cedar Creek is content to let this game go to halftime. The clock now winding down toward a minute. If they didn't call one there, I guess maybe they could call one here, but to let 40 seconds run off, are you really doing that if you're trying to get the ball back? You're under a minute.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. You have the 2 timeouts, and you know what can happen on a big 4th down as well, but snaps can go bad as well. You have to call a timeout here, unless Old Bridge just call one to stop the delay of game. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm very surprised on 3rd and 13 they did not call a timeout.
Well, our officials are not telling us who called the timeout. That's a problem for us anyway, because we're not sure. I almost thought that Old Bridge called it, Joe, just to avoid the delay of game penalty, but
I mean, at that point, if you're Cedar Creek, why would you wait that long to
I don't
call
know.
it?
I don't know. It's an interesting.
They may have seen something they didn't like in the matchup and decided to try and get different personnel out there, but I'm very surprised they didn't take a timeout. If it was 3rd and 6, then perhaps I could see not calling one because you run the risk of Old Bridge picking up a first, but I think on 3rd and 13, you have to trust your defense.
Trying to see if the timeouts are posted on the scoreboard.
It's 2-1. Old Bridge has 1 timeout.
Okay.
Old Bridge called timeout.
So Old Bridge used that timeout.
Yeah. Third and 15 for the Knights. I mistakenly said 3rd and 13.
Yeah, I had 13 before, but changed it here once you see the sticks here. But it's a big play.
They move them. Pre-snap motion. Allsbrook. And Nugent will keep. He takes it up the middle and picks up about 5. Timeout called by the Pirates.
Yeah. Well, that's an obvious one now.
Yeah. There are coaches who would prefer to have the timeout rather than the time. I think when you're at a point in the half this late, I think that does go out the window in most cases, but by our count, the Pirates have 1 timeout left. We could be wrong.
No, I heard them say it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Joe, I heard the...
Okay, I don't think so, but had to put that out there.
Heard the white hat mic'd up mention that it's their second charge timeout. They have 1 left, and, they've reset the clock too, Joe, so there's 35 seconds on the clock. I think it had spilled down to a little bit under 30. But, obviously, I love the fact that they called a timeout there because you never know what can happen on this snap here. You get a bad punt, you get a big return. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned, Joe, if there was, something that, the Old Bridge Knights were guilty of last year, especially early in the season, is their return coverage was a little shaky in the first couple of weeks of the season. Kickoff coverage and punt coverage. And that makes a play like this huge here for the Knights. Got to get the punt off A. B, you need good coverage here.
I don't think you were on with me for the Piscataway game, but that was a game where they gave up a couple of returns. As the punt was nearly blocked, and I think the Pirates got a piece.
Yeah, might have gotten a fingertip on it. And either way, Cedar Creek is going to get the ball back in really, really good field position.
Jawan McIntosh Ward came awfully close to blocking that punt. And as we said, I think it's possible that he got fingertips on it. We'll get a look at the replay.
Yeah, we'll see it slow down a little bit just to see that ball's trajectory and see if it was indeed hit. I thought it was.
I think it was.
Certainly looked like it.
I think it was. And that's exactly why you have to force them to punt. Whether or not you intend to go all out to score, you have to force the opposing team to kick late in the half. If you have the timeouts to set that up, they must be used.
Yeah, and assuming the clock is correct up here, Joe, there's 27 seconds left with a timeout in your pocket if you're the Pirates. So you're going to need a couple of really big, huge plays here, but still not beyond question here that they can move the ball into field goal range or try to punch one in here before the half.
Cedar Creek will line up in the shotgun, first down from their own 44. And Bethea throws right, complete, short gain on that play as Justice Payton gets out of bounds.
Yeah, it looks like a gain of about 3 or 4 on the play, Joe, and just gets them a little bit closer to that 50-yard line where you hope to really get that one heave down the field if it comes to that final play. 17 seconds now left in the first half. And again, if I'm Cedar Creek, I'm looking for maybe a 10 or a 15-yard pass. Sit down with it, give yourself up, call the timeout, and then heave-ho to the end zone. See if you can arm it down into the paint
Wouldn't it be entertaining to see a Hail Mary right before halftime?
Right.
Not saying convert it or not, just see the attempt.
Yeah.
Those are always fun to call. We don't get much of that. Second down. Bethea looking downfield, airs it out. Campfield in double coverage, and it was picked off.
Wow.
Diaz came down with it, his second INT of the game.
Well, what a great job and great concentration, because as he was coming down with that, Joe, it looked like he was tangled up with the wideout on the play. Looked like both had an equal opportunity to get to that ball, but Diaz had the better position on it. He kind of undercuts it. He's playing center field the whole way. Camps out underneath it and somehow is able to keep it in his grasp. And you'd like to think at this point Old Bridge might take a knee here, but you just never know. I think there's 8 seconds left, Joe. I'm kind of hard to read on the scoreboard.
They are going to take a knee immediately following what was their third interception of this first half. Once again, the Old Bridge defense performing well, the offense doing their job on top of it, and it is the Knights taking a 7-point lead into our halftime break. Our score here in Week 0, the Knights 14 and the Pirates 7. This is PDF Sports Network coverage of Old Bridge Knights high school football. More to come following this halftime break and a message from our sponsors.
Celebrating 65 years, the Old Bridge Rebels Youth Organization is the longest-running and most successful youth organization, serving Old Bridge Township. The Rebels are the premier football and cheer organization with a long and rich history in coaching and developing our community's future leaders. Through proper guidance and leadership, the Rebels program assists the youth in developing the qualities of safe play, discipline, teamwork, fundamentals, and well-being. We will continue to focus on these goals while maintaining a strong presence in the community. Check us out at swsrebels.org.
For raising the standard in facility services and commercial cleaning look to Pritchard Industries. For over 35 years, our commitment to creating clean, healthy, and safe environments is unwavering, ensuring that your facility not only looks pristine, but also promotes well-being and productivity so your business can excel. Specializing in comprehensive commercial cleaning solutions, advanced facility services, responsible sustainable practices, and innovative technology, contact us now at PritchardIndustries.com. Pritchard Industries, here for you.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's home team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
This football season, stop by Market Boy Liquors, your hometown destination for over 20 years. Family-owned and operated, our 8,000-square-foot store features the largest beer cooler in the area, plus an unbeatable selection of wine, spirits, cigars, and craft beer. Conveniently located at 1132 Englishtown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, Market Boy Liquors is proud to serve our community with the best variety and friendly service. Call us today at 732-251-4616 and make Market Boy your game day headquarters.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
You gotta check out All American Ford.
All American Ford is number one.
All American Ford in Old Bridge is proudly family owned and operated, and we're the #1 Ford dealership in New Jersey.
All American Ford is the tri-state area's giant auto group. They always have the largest selection, and it's not even close. All American Ford is currently offering APR financing as low as 0%, low monthly lease specials, and thousands off MSRP.
Giant selection,
Giant savings.
go G-Men, and go All American Ford.
Shop online at allamericanfordandoldbridge.com.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Protect your family, pets, and your wallet with Anchor Pest Control. We provide coverage for all your pest removal needs, and our all-inclusive service saves you money. We've designed our services to be both comprehensive and budget-friendly for homeowners. Plus, with our premium service, you'll get a free mosquito application. See how Anchor stacks up against the competition. Visit us, anchorpestcontrol.net, or call 888-623-2847 for information and service.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network, still at halftime in this high school football matchup between Old Bridge High School and Cedar Creek High School. The Knights lead it by a score of 14-7 at the halftime break. And Dave, early in this game, the big story, 2 early interceptions, 1 by each team. However, Cedar Creek followed that up with the second INT. That led to the game's first points. The Knights went in front by 7. Cedar Creek then drove 91 yards to tie it before Old Bridge took the lead on a big Brody Nugent run right before the end of the first half. So a lot to talk about from half number one. What stood out to you?
Yeah, during the break, I was thinking to myself, which team should be happy with the way the score is right now? I think both teams are a little bit dissatisfied, Joe, but satisfied enough. Old Bridge, I think they're saying to themselves, we probably could have had more points if we didn't throw that interception on our first drive in the end zone to boot. You'd like to come away with points there. All things considered, though, they're up by 7 at halftime. That is a win for them. And Cedar Creek, you can't discount that great drive that they had, down by 2 scores, 7-0, down by that 1 score on their third drive of the game after turning the ball over twice in a row, going down the field, 91 yards. That's a big positive. And really, since that time, Joe, they only gave up that one big play, and that's the reason for Old Bridge's second touchdown. So that's really what stood out for me in that first half was just that big play at the end and the big plays early via the turnover.
And let's talk about something that is going to be new to our coverage of Old Bridge Knights high school football this year. It is our Old Bridge Knights high school football premium pass. Now, because of the new venue today and the fact that we had another game ahead of our game, we did not get situated as quickly as we would have liked. So this will debut next week when Old Bridge visits Edison. However, all season long, you can watch Old Bridge Knights high school football free of YouTube ads in full 1080p HD. How does it work? You scan the QR code on your screen. That right QR code gives you access to the link to purchase our Old Bridge Premium Pass. At that link, you will find options to view all 10 of our Old Bridge broadcasts. Right now we have 9 scheduled. We anticipate a 10th coming up during the postseason. But Old Bridge Knights on Boxcast, our premium pass will be free of YouTube ads. The only ads you will get over on Boxcast are from the sponsors of Knights football. You've heard from many of them throughout the broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you've probably heard from many more businesses as well. Those ads inserted by YouTube are not related to sponsors of Knights football. Those are eliminated over on Boxcast. So if you're interested in supporting Knights football, check us out over on Boxcast with our Old Bridge High School Football Premium Pass. Every game free of YouTube ads all season long. Following the conclusion of each live broadcast in 720p, we will post a full 1080p HD version of those broadcasts over on Boxcast each week. Viewers that are a part of our visiting audience, if the game, of course, is at Old Bridge, or the home team when Old Bridge is on the road, if you want to view just one game, you can do that as well by scanning the QR code on the left. That will change each week to reflect the opponent of the Knights on the schedule. So all of that over on Boxcast. We thank everyone who chooses to purchase our premium pass as the year goes on.
Yeah, Joe, something we should mention, too, is that even when we're broadcasting on YouTube, we're broadcasting most of the time, we'll be broadcasting on a lower latency stream. 720p will be the norm, but we might even have to drop that down further if internet prevents us from going full-blown. And we saw that a lot last year, Joe. Old Bridge, of course, doesn't have the accommodations that we have here at Rowan, which was the plug-in Ethernet. And we're going to be doing a lot of games from the road starting next week in Edison. So sometimes our internet will not be, streaming well, so we'll have to drop some of the bandwidth and the frame rate. But always, after each game, at the end of the games, we'll always upload a clean HD copy. So for Old Bridge fans who are going to be following us all year long, fear not. We have several ways that you can view us. And, of course, as Joe mentioned, the way where you can really support Old Bridge football and, of course, what we're doing here on the PDF Sports Network. We enjoy bringing you these games. And, of course, by supporting those endeavors, of course, you're supporting our ability to bring these games to you seamlessly week in and week out.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Dave. And with that, we are going to throw it to one final break before the start of the second half. Once again, our score at the halftime break, the Knights 14 and the Pirates 7.
Celebrating 65 years. The Old Bridge Rebels Youth Organization is the longest-running and most successful youth organization, serving Old Bridge Township. The Rebels are the premier football and cheer organization with a long and rich history in coaching and developing our community's future leaders. Through proper guidance and leadership, the Rebels program assists the youth in developing the qualities of safe play, discipline, teamwork, fundamentals, and well-being. We will continue to focus on these goals while maintaining a strong presence in the community. Check us out at swsrebels.org.
For raising the standard in facility services and commercial cleaning, look to Pritchard Industries. For over 35 years, our commitment to creating clean, healthy, and safe environments is unwavering, ensuring that your facility not only looks pristine, but also promotes well-being and productivity so your business can excel. Specializing in comprehensive commercial cleaning solutions, advanced facility services, responsible sustainable practices, and innovative technology, contact us now at pritchardindustries.com. Pritchard Industries, here for you.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's home team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
This football season, stop by Market Boy Liquors, your hometown destination for over 20 years. Family-owned and operated, our 8,000-square-foot store features the largest beer cooler in the area, plus an unbeatable selection of wine, spirits, cigars, and craft beer. Conveniently located at 1132 Englishtown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857, Market Boy Liquors is proud to serve our community with the best variety and friendly service. Call us today at 732-251-4616 and make Market Boy your game day headquarters.
And we are back from the campus of Rowan University as we get set to begin the second half between Old Bridge High School and Cedar Creek High School. The Knights in front, 14-7 at the halftime break. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside David Pizzuto here on the PDF Sports Network. And Dave, we've had plenty of opportunities throughout the broadcast today to thank our great sponsors of Old Bridge Knights High School football, but we'd also like to thank some more individuals who have helped make today's broadcast possible, and in the grand scheme of things, all of our broadcasts of Old Bridge football possible. First, the Purple and Black Parents Club, always huge supporters of the broadcast, making sure to get this locked in ahead of last season and get us on the air for week one. Of course, head coach Matt Donahue, a huge part of what we do here at PDF as well. And a thank you to the crew here at Rowan University for great accommodations for us. Press box, wired internet. As a broadcast team, we can't ask for more than that.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for the hospitality of all our friends here at Rowan University and working with us. And a special shout out to Mike Valinati, father of Justin Valinati on the team, Joe. But he's he presides over the Parents Club. And, he and I have been back and forth, and he's been text messaging us, Joe, since really May and June, getting us ready for the season. It's yeoman's work. The Parents Club, you see across from us, that's the Old Bridge, crowd right there. And they come out, they support The entire school, it has our backs. And even last year, getting us to cover some of the road games, what their athletic department does, reaching out to other schools' athletic departments, getting us set up. It's really invaluable work that they do for us. We want to give them a quick shout out. We'll be shouting them out all season long, but thanks to everybody for making this possible. And thank you all at home for tuning in and being a part of this week 0 broadcast here and week 0 of the high school football season. A lot of schools here, Joe, especially in New Jersey, have already started school. Some have started, this week. Many of them start after Labor Day. But all of this is going on before first day of classes for a lot of these schools. And, these teams have been working hard all summer, these football programs, to, give us a great show here on opening day at Rowan.
And I'll tell you, I was recently on a road trip that took me over to Texas, and I thought on Monday after I go see the Phillies play the Rangers, I'm going to take a day at Six Flags. Well, it turns out in Texas, school starts in mid-August. So they get started very early. In my entire life of attending school through college, I don't think I ever had class prior to college before Labor Day.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that's something that's becoming more and more common. The school year is shifting just a bit, starting a bit earlier and ending a bit earlier. So that's foreign to me, but I talk about it all the time when we cover Knights football, how much I enjoy doing these games. And there, somewhere in the PDF archives, there's a short list of clients that are my preferred clients and that I get to make sure I get first crack at to get on the call. Old Bridge is definitely on that list. We enjoy covering these games a great deal, and a big part of it, as you mentioned, is the work that the Purple and Black Parents Club does ahead of our coverage, especially of the road games. When you're covering a game at a team's home facility, it's great. They have full access to the facility, generally speaking, and we're able to get set. Organizing a game on someone else's home turf and getting the broadcast crew in there and well accommodated, not easy to do, and they've been a huge part of making sure that happens.
Absolutely. So we thank them a great deal. And Joe, here on PDF, we do everything from high school sports, even youth sports, going back further. We covered Little League baseball and softball this summer, all the way up to professional football. And we do cover professional football in the country of Finland, believe it or not. We cover the Maple League. The Vetera Liga is the NFL of Finland. We've been covering them all year long. And tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we have our final regular season broadcast. I don't have the graphic ready for it, Joe, but the Helsinki Wolverines taking on the Kuopio Steelers. Covering professional football, Joe, overseas has really been an eye-opening experience for me. A lot of NCAA Division I and II talent playing there. A lot of guys from NFL practice squads playing there as well. And it's been a real gift for us here at PDF to cover the gamut of football, both here at home and, of course, overseas, professional and high school. It's a real, it's a real balance here when you're doing a high school football game on a Saturday and you're going to be covering a professional football game in Europe tomorrow morning.
We're not missing much in terms of football coverage. Maybe some peewees, some flag, and some college football to round out the offerings here on PDF. But regardless of what sport you're a fan of, you can check it out here on PDF. We cover a variety of sports, and we can cover not only in person, but also we can cover remotely, as we were able to cover games without being in attendance now. You get us the game film, or we can deploy a camera operator. Whatever your preferred method of getting that video into our studios is, we can make it happen. Dave and I on the call remotely from back at home in Matawan and South River, New Jersey. So a lot to come here on PDF. That includes the game tomorrow and plenty more to come in terms of Knights football here on the PDF Sports Network all season long. 24 minutes to go in this one, Dave. The Knights have a 7-point lead, and they will receive the football to begin the third quarter. Good spot to be in.
Yeah, good spot to be in. They took a knee to end the first half, so, it's right where you want to be back here on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll see what adjustment both teams make. This is the first time that Coach Donahue and Coach Melody have a chance to kind of talk to their troops at a half and say, here are the adjustments we need to make, and here is how we go about over the next 24 minutes winning this football game. Joe, the score is what it is. I think we know, though, however, this game is still anyone's game, and it starts right here.
Second half kickoff on its way as that one travels to the 20. It lands in a bad spot. It's loose. Was it recovered in bounds?
I don't believe it was, Joe.
Oh,
I think
boy, that was close.
The Cedar Creek defender who got on top of it late was already out of bounds. He was laying across the out of bounds line when he touched it. But let's see. But as far as bounces, you can't ask for a better one than this. I mean, it just kind of dies at the point of impact there.
Yeah, it skipped out of bounds. They could not recover it cleanly. Instead, deflected the ball over the Old Bridge sideline. That's a huge break for the Knights. And you said it. You can't ask for a better bounce on a kickoff like that.
Yep.
If it goes out of bounds, Old Bridge starts at the 40. Instead, you almost recover.
Yeah. And
now, do they start at the 40 because they knocked the ball out of bounds?
Well,
did Old Bridge touch it? I think
they did.
They did.
And I think what Cedar Creek's coaching staff was saying, we missed it. It wasn't on camera. But at the bottom of your screen, what they were saying was that the Old Bridge player forcibly batted the ball forward. And if that's the case, then that could be a penalty as well. But they had a little bit of a discussion, and they're going to spot the ball at the 23-yard line. But now, Joe, maybe they are backing them up for illegally batting. No, maybe not. They're just getting rid of the football. But I think that was what Cedar Creek's coaching staff was arguing about. In any event, 1st and 10, 23-yard line, opening drive of the second half forthcoming.
Knights with the football after a very precarious sequence on that kickoff, as Nugent will keep it off the play fake, rolling to his right, and down he goes at the 15-yard line. In for the sack is Justice Payton, and that's a big play by this Pirates defense to open up the third quarter.
Yeah, I think by the time Nugent wanted to throw this ball, the receiver was not out of their break yet up the field. We'll see if we see it on the bottom of your screen. He wants to let loose, but there's just nothing there, and you could see there's just nothing developing underneath. Nugent, perhaps you'd like him to throw the ball away there instead of taking a sack, but that is a big loss of 8 yards on first down. So here we go. Big play for Cedar Creek.
2nd and 17 for the Knights now, as they'll look to work out of a big jam early in this third quarter. The motion man is Allsbrook, and he will take the handoff as he lost his footing and will carry it for no gain.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you know, Chase Rizzo was, he carried the ball sparingly last year as a reserve, but he's out of this game. He's the normal RB1 for this team, and you wonder how that has affected the way this offense wants to run the football. But here we go, 3rd down and 18, Joe, and a huge play here to get the Knights off the field 3 and out to start the second half.
It is 3rd down and 18 officially. Bunch to the right of this shotgun formation. Nugent now in motion. Brody Nugent looking to throw, has some time. Now flushed out right, throws downfield, complete. And that is a yard, maybe 2, short of a first down. And it's decision time for the Knights, Dave.
Yeah, and I don't know if it is much of a decision, Joe. I think you have to punt it, but they look like they are going to go for it, and they're going to line up quickly to do it.
Yeah, I think there's a good shot they try and draw them off here. But instead, it looks like the punting unit is going to come out. It is 4th and 1 in the truest sense. Exactly 1 yard needed for a first down. Keep in mind as well, Nugent could keep this.
Right. I was going to say, look at who the punter is, Joe, and we saw some fakes last year as well, where Nugent would throw the ball here on these 4th downs.
Nugent rolling left, does throw it complete, first down. Brody Nugent to Griffin Nugent on the completion, and the Knights convert on 4th.
Well, we won't say we told you so, but we told you so. I mean, Nugent has that ability. I mean, to tuck it down and run with it on a fake on a 4th down, or the ability to do this. Kind of survey the rush that's coming up and make a decision. You want to punt it away, go ahead and punt it away. If you want to roll out, roll out. You know, we've seen Nugent roll out, Joe, and then punt the football. That's how dynamic he could be, and they got the Pirates that time.
As a commentator, you kind of have to just sit and take in that play because you don't know. Is he going to punt? Is he going to throw? Is he going to run? Even if he's going to kick, he will roll out. And take a look at the defense as that snap traveled right by Allsbrook as Nugent is stood up and pushed back. And that was really dangerous, Dave. That snap came in with Allsbrook in the path, and that ball nearly hit him.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at it here. We'll see it a little bit slowed down as well. We'll see how close that indeed was. It ended up being a keeper by Nugent.
That one really snuck in on him. It traveled right in front of his face mask.
But how about that, Joe? You're 3rd and 18, and you get a 17-yard completion, and then they go for it on 4th down, and you're able to convert. Huge.
Nugent rolling left, looking downfield as he runs out of time. Will throw it away into his team's bench.
Yeah, all things considered, the Pirates are playing really good peripheral defense on Nugent. He really, every time he scrambled to the right and the left, he's completed a couple of those passes, but there really hasn't been a lot. And, you like to say it all the time, Joe, yourself, that when you roll out left or right, you're essentially cutting off half the field. And Cedar Creek knows that as well. They're bottling up the receivers on the sideline, and really Nugent has had no options.
3rd down and 8 here. Trips to the right for Nugent in the shotgun. He is flanked by Nugent and will look to throw. He's forced to roll left just a bit. Avoids another tackler, airs it out downfield, and it's deflected, incomplete along the Old Bridge sideline.
Yeah, it was going to take a superior play there at the sideline to haul that pass in, and now it's going to be 4th down and long, and now it looks like the Old Bridge will bring on the punting unit again. Less likely to go for it in a scenario like this, but again, another example of Cedar Creek doing a nice job on the periphery there, rolling Nugent out. Nobody's selling out and allowing Nugent to step up and run. He's got to pass all the way there.
And that punt, a high kick that will land between the 30 and the 35. It takes an Old Bridge bounce and rolls inside of the 20, where it will be touchdown at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, all things considered, about a 40-yard kick with no return, so they'll take it.
And that is where Cedar Creek will start their first drive of the 3rd quarter, just inside of their own 20. And they have a chance to get even with a touchdown and extra point on this drive, and I think that's a really, really big stop for the Pirates to open up the 3rd quarter. I think the way this game has gone so far with their very methodical approach on offense, if they go behind 2 scores, that really puts the pressure on. Instead, trailing by just 7, they can stick to the game plan and do what got them even in that first half.
Yep, just under 8 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Dunbar finds running room up the middle there and is finally brought down at the 35-yard line. Big gain of 16 yards on the ground to open up the drive.
Well, there's a nice healthy play on 1st down that you'll want to go back to at some point as well. Kind of how they started the game as well in the 1st quarter. Some running right up the heart of this Old Bridge defense, and that time Dunbar is able to find the path and step over a couple of defenders and make the nice play. Moves the chains immediately, and now they're right at the 35-yard line.
1st down, Cedar Creek. Immediately getting out from in front of their own end zone with that carry, and this time Dunbar stood up in the backfield and brought down by what seemed like the entire Knights defensive front.
Yeah, just couldn't establish leverage there as there was some pressure in the backfield right from where the handoff took place, and there was nowhere for Dunbar to go, and then the White Hats come and help out there as that ends up being a loss of 5 yards on the play.
2nd down and about 15 now for Cedar Creek here, and that completely changes the complexion of this drive. A huge carry to get things started, and then a big play by the Old Bridge defense stifling Dunbar in the offensive backfield makes it 2nd and 15.
This is where they've liked to pass in the flat, Joe, on these 2nd and longs.
There it is, quick screen. No room for Campfield. Down he goes inside the 30, and that's a loss of a yard. 3rd and 16 coming up.
Well, Joe, we had a feeling it was coming. I'm sure Old Bridge did as well. That's a play that they like to run on 2nd and 3rd down and long, and they went to it again. And usually they get the good downfield blocking. The downfield blocking here isn't bad. It's just a really nice play by Allsbrook to come in from the linebacker position, and eventually it was number 22, Jaden Endos, to come in and make the play and seal it off. But picture perfect play on 2nd and long brings up a 3rd and longer, 3rd and 16.
A chance here for the Old Bridge defense to get off the field, but as we've seen in this game already, these 3rd and longs by no means guarantee you the stop. Bethea throws the halfback screen. It's knocked down. Great play on the defensive line by Justin Barkazi.
Sure was, Joe, and that's going to bring up 4th and long and a punt situation. But Barkazi, of course, he sells on the screen. It works to Cedar Creek's desire here. They get Barkazi to come in unimpeded. However, puts those big mittens up and is able to deflect this one down. Good play.
And the Pirates will look to punt here. On 4th down and very long, they need 16. And pressure coming in, but the kick is a high, short kick. Fair catch called for, and that's going to be a flag. You can't do that.
Yeah, it has to, Joe.
Yeah,
and,
no question.
You know, I think the young man realized it, McIntosh Ward realized it, tried to hold up a little bit, but not before he makes contact, and that's an easy one for the side judge to call.
So it will be Old Bridge football, and if that's a 15-yard personal foul, they will move up into Cedar Creek territory. And indeed, it is going to be a personal foul for the contact on the return man. Now, is there a 5-yard variety?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Fair catch interference, I don't
think so. But the officials are going to talk about it, which led me to pose that question. We'll see here what comes of this discussion.
But, Joe, is a fair catch interference a 15-yarder? I don't know if it is.
You might be right about that.
But I think they did say personal foul, so they are going to move it. And if they do, it's probably going
15.
to be,
I thought so.
It's going to be in Cedar Creek territory. So good call there, and they'll start at Cedar Creek's 43-yard line. So, you know, that's a tough one for Cedar Creek because that snap came from the 29-yard line. And so they only net 14 yards on that punt between the, shorter type punt and then the interference call. And Old Bridge going to go with nobody in the backfield.
Here comes some motion pre-snap, and taking the handoff is Allsbrook. He has the sideline, and he has about 8 yards on that carry.
Yeah, I think that's the longest run of the game from someone not named Nugent for the Knights, and they're going to want to work quickly here, so we'll stay with live action.
2nd and 2 coming up as Old Bridge gets to the line quickly. As we've seen, that does not mean they will snap it quickly.
Right.
It's an empty shotgun set, and now whistles come in.
And not quite sure why here. We'll keep our attention. False start.
And that false start call goes against the wideout, Calvin James.
Yeah, so that'll make it a 2nd down and 7. And, that's been something that's bitten this Old Bridge team a few times. And that was the other thing that stung Old Bridge last year too, Joe. They amassed a lot of penalties last year. And they got bit with one big one in this game. That was the pass interference call on that Cedar Creek touchdown drive. Otherwise, they've been, okay in that department. But Cedar Creek is, I think they have a blank sheet here. They had a couple of procedural penalties, but that's it.
Nugent will hand off up the middle to Nugent. And they'll pick up about 4 yards on that carry.
Yeah, this is where Old Bridge wants to be. 3rd and moderate. This is about a long 4, short 5, and once again, they'll try to work quickly.
Nugent flanked by Nugent in the shotgun. 2 receivers wide to each side of the shotgun formation. Likely 4-down territory, you'd think here, if they get close. If not, they could choose to pin the Pirates back. Handoff to Nugent. And he is stood up and thrown down to the turf by Peyton.
Yeah, minimal gain, maybe a half a yard to a yard, but looked like that hole was going to be there, Joe. I think everybody in the building thought that Nugent was going to keep this one. At least that's what I thought was going to happen. Instead, they make good on the delay down low, and, yeah, stood up was Nugent. Hardly any gain. Big 4th down here. 4th and a long 2, short 3.
Well, they didn't get too close, so I thought maybe in a situation like this they could think about kicking. Instead, they line up to go. Nugent keeps, rolling to his left, throws, downfield, incomplete, and that play never had a chance. Both receiving options were blanketed. Nugent had no room to run, and he was forced to spike one into the turf.
Yeah, I think Nugent made up his mind, Joe, that he was going to throw here, because I think if he makes up his mind he's going to run, I think he's going to have the first down. I think he's going to win this race. Instead, he just kind of peels back a little bit. Instead of making a beeline towards that first down marker, we'll see it one more time. Instead of making a beeline towards the marker, he kind of gets flushed out even further. And it looked like he wanted to pass this right from the get-go and came up short. And they give it over on downs right where the Cedar Creek drive stalled last time. We have 3 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the third.
Pirates football, play action on first down. Deep shot down the field, complete up the sideline. King takes it out of bounds inside the 30, and there's the big play that this Cedar Creek offense has been looking for.
Yeah, that's the first time they took the top off the defense, Joe, and there was room here to get this one in for 6. If this is a perfect ball and meets King in stride, he's probably going to bring it down and take it to the house. He was well past the safety and the corners on the play. Instead, had to really track that ball in midair, and it forced him out of bounds. Either way, a 45-yard gain on the play, and it sets up the Pirates in business at the Old Bridge 30.
And he might be cramping up after that reception. He's down on the field now, took a seat following the offensive huddle. So with that, the action breaks here, and we'll get one more look. And I think everyone in the building thought that was a first down handoff. That's good use of the play fake. And a good ball, not a perfect ball, but a good ball over the top of the defense. Didn't give the defensive back, Birch, any chance to make a play on that one. And a good job to adjust to it as well by King. That is not an easy catch. Right. He had to reach over his back shoulder and make that grab, worrying about the sideline. Had enough room to keep it in bounds without issue. And now he's being worked on down around the 45-yard line as his team waits to continue this drive.
Yeah, Joe, I was going to say a good throw, a great catch. And King just really was able to see that ball up in the sky and kind of, not completely reverse his body, but contort his body so that he met it and he was able to, catch it over the shoulder. And, it guided him out of bounds. And, that's something that I'm sure Cedar Creek wishes that he could catch that and continue running to the end zone with it. But even so, a 45-yard gain on a 1st and 10, that's something that's been missing from this Cedar Creek offense in this game. And now they just played that card. And let's see if it could develop into points here on this drive.
Well, now you put your offense in a spot on the field where the entire playbook is open. And a handoff goes to Dunbar up the middle. He falls forward for a gain of about 3, but you're in that area of the field again now where in a 7-point game approaching the fourth quarter, you might not think about kicking, and you may have 4 downs the rest of the way on this drive.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a good point here. You got to think you're in an area of the field here where, now the ball's in your court, right? You have 4 downs to pick up 10 yards, and you got, even if you decide to do this and work 2 and 3 yards at a time, that's not a bad thing here, as that went more for 2 yards than for 3. So we'll adjust it here, make it 2nd and 8. But big moment in the game for both teams, big area of the field for both teams. We'll see what they do.
Trips to the left. But they will keep it. He takes off with running room toward the sideline. Inside the 20 to the 10, 5, touchdown.
Well, head coach Matt Donahue was thinking that he might have come out, but there was a flag down, Joe, right inside the 20-yard line. So we're going to see what developments here.
It's going to be a hold against Cedar Creek. And this one is coming back, and that was quite a burst from Badea there.
Pick it up here during the run, Joe. It happened at about the 20-yard line. Let's see. Is it on number 3 here? That's tough. If that's on Sandy Thomas, that's a tough call on that young man. Negates and takes points off the board.
I think it had to be, given where the flag came out. It looked like Cedar Creek had pulled to within 1. Instead, take those 6 points off the board, back them up a few.
Well, they
the hold is up the field, yeah.
They got a gain of 1 on the play, Joe, and that's a bitter pill to swallow on a play that gets you at 6 points.
Better than going backwards. Sure. They picked up 1 as Bethea looks to roll left and throw here. He airs one out. End zone, caught and dropped. It was in King's hands, and it came out when the defender made contact at the goal line. Credit Xavier Diaz with the pass breakup.
Yeah, Diaz gets beat on the play, Joe, and he makes up for it for not giving up on the play. He notices when that ball gets into the receiver's hands and gives him that shove right there that takes him off the ball, and King just couldn't keep his feet and the ball in his hands at the same time, and that brings up a crucial third down here.
That's one of those where he caught it and just didn't get a chance to secure it before the defender made contact, and Diaz didn't hit the ball.
No.
It was completely contact to the body.
Well,
I thought initially he must have gotten the ball, but he didn't.
When you go straight up to catch it and then your equilibrium is destroyed with that push, that's sometimes what will happen. Here we go.
Trips to the left, and that's a backwards pass.
Sure is.
That is a backwards pass. It lands out of bounds. That's a big loss.
Yeah, it is. And we'll see.
Or is it?
Where they spotted here.
Oh, they didn't call it backwards.
Well, we're going to get another look at it, but that did look like a backwards pass. Let's see where
for sure it was.
Where he releases and where that ball lands. Let's see.
I didn't think it was that close.
Me neither. And, we're right in line with
True.
where this is happening. So let's see. Slow down just a bit. It's going to be 4th and 7, but he throws it at the 32. Yeah, that's easily a backward pass. That's 2 yards.
And that's a huge call.
Big call.
Wow. If they convert here, that will loom large. Now, did the Old Bridge sideline protest at all? I don't think so.
I don't know if they did, but it's 4th and 7. It should be about a 4th and 13 here.
Yeah.
If you would have counted that as a lateral. But here we go. Huge play.
But they in the shotgun will look to throw for it. Pressure coming. He throws downfield for the end zone. Picked off for the third time, no. But that will be a turnover on downs, and I think that probably helps out the Knights as Diaz got his hands on it and lost it through the breadbasket. But that is a turnover on downs, and the Knights will take over at their own 27.
It's a good hold for Old Bridge. And again, this pass looks like it's there and it's going to develop. But look at the, makeup speed there by Diaz to get it, and very nearly comes down with it. But actually better that he didn't, Joe. They end up gaining about 7 yards because of the non-catch. So, wow, what a hold by Old Bridge there on a couple of plays that could have been made and just simply were not by Cedar Creek. And if this game ends up a one-score game later, they'll look at that drive as a big reason why. 2:35 to go in the third quarter.
Nugent in the shotgun. He will hand off to Nugent. He finds a hole and picks up a short gain. Give him 3 on the play.
Yeah, and again, Old Bridge looking to obviously wind the time down a little bit, but try to establish that power run game here in this second half. I think that's got to be something that Matt Donahue wants to see more of in this second half. But Old Bridge continuing to work relatively quickly here back to the line of scrimmage.
Just over 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. It's a second down handoff to Nugent up the middle. And once again, he's brought down after a short gain. Give him 3 more. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 4.
Still, you have to be impressed with the way the Pirates are playing defensively, even against the run here. By not huddling up, Joe, you're really preventing your opponent from getting fresh bodies in the game, substitutions, things like that. And all things considered, they're playing the run very well.
The Knights hurry to the line and line Nugent up in an empty backfield. Instruction coming from the Knights bench. Motion man Allsbrook. And the handoff to him. He's looking for room and won't find any. He's brought down for no gain. And a 4th down and 4 coming up.
Yeah, and you know what? Cedar Creek isn't buying any of this, Joe. They're not getting fooled. They're staying very disciplined to who their marks are. You'd like to think that Old Bridge is running plays like this so that later on in the game, Nugent rips one off for a big one by keeping that ball. So they're staying disciplined to that play, but Cedar Creek is having none of it here, and they are doing really well against the run. Very stout the entire game, if not for that breakaway touchdown in the second quarter. Otherwise, this has been a stout defensive performance.
Nugent did roll to his left a bit, but sends that one away. Fair catch was called for and made at the 36-yard line of Cedar Creek. That's where they'll get started, but a really big stop for this Pirates defense on that drive once again. And I've mentioned it already, but Old Bridge has had a couple of opportunities to make this a 2-score game. They haven't done it yet. And still in the third quarter, with about 30 seconds to go, there is plenty of time left in this game for Cedar Creek to stick to the game plan, feature the ground game, and to get even. Huge opportunity on the last drive went by the wayside via the holding call, and now they get started again from their own 36.
Yeah, and you wonder how many drives are left, though, Joe, because they're taking over with 30 seconds to go. So this could conceivably be the final play of the third quarter.
It is an attempt to throw downfield by Bethea. Double coverage, broken up by the receiver.
I was going to say, Joe, as soon as he put that up, that should be intercepted. There was no fooling there. There was double coverage. The cornerback and the safety were both in really good position to bear down on this ball. And again, I believe it was King who was the wide receiver, Joe. He has to become almost like a defensive back here and break things up here. And you could tell, just in between two guys, Old Bridge has their choice, and it's a 2nd and 10 as a result. So all things considered, that's a pretty positive play for Cedar Creek. That ball probably should have been picked off.
No question about it. And getting a look at that on replay once again, it looked like a fake screen wheel sort of concept. I'm not sure if the receiver has any option to sit down there, but if he sat down in the mid-range, maybe 10 to 15 yards down the field rather than running straight up the field, there was a big hole in the defense there as Dunbar goes nowhere on 2nd down. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. It's a loss of a yard. And we will begin the fourth with a 3rd down and 11 for the Pirates, trailing by a score of 14-7. And the final seconds will tick off here in the third with 3rd down coming up. Once again, our score, Old Bridge 14 and Cedar Creek 7 here on the PDF Sports Network. We will stay with you as they switch sides ahead of the fourth quarter. But Dave, taking a look at the situation here, 3rd and 11, tough spot for the Pirates to convert. They haven't had many dynamic plays down the field. They did have a big one on the last drive. How aggressive are you here, and what do you think they'll try and do here on 3rd?
Well, I think just the area of the field, Joe, maybe if you get 1 or 2 yards, in a 4th and 1, 4th and 2 situation, you even think about going for it. But in order to get there, I think you have to put the ball up in the air. And you got to try to get this first down. I think, do you want to be reckless with the football? No. But do you want to be aggressive? Yes. At this point, you're down by a score. It's your final 12 minutes. You got to figure on a good day, you might see the ball another 2 times, maybe 3 if you were forced to punt here after an incomplete pass. But still, it's getting later and later, and I think you do have to kind of go for the jugular here and get this first down. Bethea, since throwing that 2nd interception earlier in the game in the first quarter, has seemed a little bit more liberal with getting rid of the football, taking chances down the field. I think this is a case where if you're Old Bridge, you're probably not going to bring added pressure. Pick a guy, throw it, try to get underneath one, and move the sticks.
Pirates offense making their way back out onto the field. It will be 3rd down and 11. Ball still at their own 36-yard line. That's where this drive started. And they will look to throw for it. Bethea out of time, goes down, and he will get up a bit slowly as once again the Old Bridge defense holds, and that will bring up 4th.
Yeah, it doesn't count as a sack, Joe, because he got about a half yard or a yard on that play, but it almost felt like a sack, did it not? It looked like Bethea was going to try to extend the pocket, move up in the pocket, but that's just an awesome play by Michael Kavas, destroying the tackle on the play and blowing that one up in the backfield, and it forces a punt.
And that punt traveling toward the near side is a short kick. It lands out of bounds right around the 42, and that is where Old Bridge will get started. So good field position for the Knights here, and once again, Dave, they're in that position where if they score, they are firmly in the driver's seat, especially with the game now in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, if they score, Joe, that's the key. And really, when you think about it, Joe, I'm sure Coach Donahue and the offensive coaches are telling this Knights team, look, if we could score here, we can really seal this game up for our defense. But also, Joe, keep in mind, they've only scored today on a short field and then on one play. It was a one-play kind of defensive breakdown. Great job by Nugent to find a hole and scamper 67 yards. Otherwise, it was on that short field. So the Knights haven't really shown us today that they can be methodical and go down the field and score. I'm sure they'd love to see that from their offense here in the fourth quarter.
And a flag comes out ahead of the first snap on this drive, and it looks like the Knights will back up 5 via the false start. They will. And we've seen that now quite a bit from both teams in this game. And if you're Old Bridge, you hate to see that on the first play of the drive. It's sort of inexplicable at times to see it. We get that quite a bit where the first play of the drive gets off to a bit of a shaky start.
Yeah.
Both teams.
Yeah, and it's one of those, again, self-inflicted wounds where the opponent didn't do anything. You just gave them 5 yards, and now for the third or fourth straight drive, you're starting a drive 1st and 15.
Nugent forced to tuck and run, picks up nice yardage here as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and then some. Give him 9 on the carry.
Yeah, this is a good job. At first he's looking to pass, and then you just tuck it down, find the lane. If you see that develop, I'm sure he's told in the timeout huddle, look, if you have a lane, take it. This is what you do. This is our calling card as an offense. And so he gets, like you said, a big 9-yard gain. It's 2nd down and 7.
Nugent keeps it on the design run. Not much running room this time as he's brought down just short of midfield. So it's going to be a 3rd down and about 4. And I think this is another situation. You have to avoid that pre-snap penalty. Can't back up here, but one play to get it, certainly wouldn't go for it. What are you calling?
A keeper, and a design keeper right from the jump. I don't want Nugent backing up at all. I want him to take this and go off tackle, probably right. You want to go to the wider side of the field, but I would just that would be my call.
I think there's a good chance we see another one of those design rollouts here. They're in that look with 2 receivers to the right. Here it is. Nugent contained well, throws, dropped. They had it.
Yeah, they did.
They had it, and they changed up the look just a bit on that one. They were able to get the intended receiver, Jordan Mercado, some space on a comeback, and you could see it pre-snap. That was the look they were going with, the 2 receivers lined up on the wide side, and I think if I knew it, the defense probably did as well, and even with that knowledge, look at that hole.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there.
The coverage was very, very soft, Joe, at the top of your screen. And Mercado, all he had to do was come back and meet the football. Is that Nugent back there, Joe? I don't know if that's Nugent.
It is not.
Right.
It is not. Sharing punting duties was Kawuki Kumsen. And once again, this punt takes an Old Bridge bounce before coming to rest at the 28-yard line. That's where the Pirates will get started with 9:43 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Still, that's a big win for Cedar Creek. That's only a 25-yard punt, Joe. So, yeah, Old Bridge does well to switch the field and set Cedar Creek up, back deep in their own end with 3/4 of the field to go for pay dirt. But still, I think that's a tough punt right there. But once again, it's on this Knights defense to kind of seal things up. And we haven't seen a lot from that Knights offense today. Cedar Creek, that one great drive, 91 yards for their 1 touchdown drive, but really they've been stifled as well, Joe, and their inability to run the football the last couple of offensive drives has been the key as well. Remember, the only real big play was that 45-yard pass for Cedar Creek. Otherwise, they've been relatively quiet offensively as well in this half.
This game has been quite the defensive battle as they'll fake the handoff here. Shot downfield. Campfield can't get to it. I don't know if he slowed up near the top of that route, but that ball was out in front of him. And if he's hitting stride, he may go all the way for 6.
Yeah, again, that's another instance where a wide receiver is able to get passed over top of the defense. That time it's Campfield. He's got the step. He's got the step and a half, and it looks like if he's motoring to get that ball, he could probably run under it and take it the rest of the way. But it's a good throw by Bethea. Can't argue the throw there. He's able to step up in the pocket and heave it. But it's another one of those plays, Joe, where if Cedar Creek falls in this game, there's going to be a couple of plays that they circle on the box score that says, man, if we had that play, much different story.
Bethea in the pistol, hands off to Dunbar, who lowers his shoulder and is driven back. No gain on that second down carry, and that will bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, good job by the Knights to stay home and not get fooled there. Second down and long, you most likely would expect a pass there, but Cedar Creek looking potentially for that, 3, 4, 5-yard gain here on this play to set up a third and manageable. Instead, they get stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Third and long again, and the Knights have been pretty good on third and long in this half, and especially since the first quarter.
Neither one of these two defenses has blinked in this second half. They've done a really great job to keep this game where it is. And the Knights defense now, with under 9 minutes to play, on the verge of another big stop on third down. Pirates in the shotgun. Bethea looking to his left, now looks right, throws downfield. King has it sail over his head. Incomplete. And once again, Cedar Creek will be forced to punt.
Joe, that was the first time that Old Bridge brought in legitimate pressure. That time, I think they brought in Valinati from the middle linebacker spot, but they end up rushing 5 in on Bethea on this play. And the offensive line does a really good job here. Bethea has a nice, clean pocket to work from. I don't know if he rushed his throw because of the blitz that he saw. Again, King had a small window, not a big one. Another 3 and out here for Cedar Creek.
Pirates lined up to punt. 2 men deep for Old Bridge here.
It's a good punt.
Very good kick. And the Knights will let it bounce as it takes a Pirates roll toward the 25, and it is touchdown at the 27-yard line. And that is where Old Bridge will get started, looking for one lengthy drive to perhaps put this game away.
Yeah, and Joe, the Knights haven't proven, at least since the first quarter when, they scored in the second quarter, but the first quarter they really haven't put up multiple first downs together. And so that's what they need here. I'm not necessarily looking for them to put the game away here and score a touchdown, although they'd love that, obviously. But I'd love to see them string together 1 and 2, 3 first downs here. Just haven't been showing that yet. 8:22 remaining in the game.
Once again, an empty backfield for Old Bridge. Nugent rolling to his left, looking downfield, and throws sideline into a tight window, incomplete. Unable to keep his feet in bounds was Michael Chiarella.
Yeah, and Cedar Creek has really done well on these rollouts here of preventing Nugent from really getting comfortable back there. And the throw on the run is not a bad throw necessarily, but it's going to take a superhuman effort to come down with this one right at the sideline. And you can see there's 3 burgundy jerseys there flanking Chiarella, and there was no shot at that time.
2nd and 10. Once again, an empty offensive backfield. They'll motion Nugent over, and Brody Nugent will keep it as he got grabbed by the face mask. No question about it. And what would have been a 1-yard gain instead is going to become a first down via the 15-yard personal foul.
Yeah, and you said it, Joe. It was going to be about a 1-yard gain. There wasn't really much going on for Nugent. You could tell what they're thinking and trying to spring him out against the fake. Normally he would give this one to Nugent. Instead he takes it and got held up right there. You saw the yanking of the face mask, 15-yard variety, and it's going to lead to an automatic first down.
That is a costly penalty for Cedar Creek, at the very least in terms of field position.
Right. Correct.
Clock winding down toward 8 minutes remaining. We are still looking for our first points of this second half. It has been a defensive clinic in half number 2. Neither offense has really gained much traction outside of the one big play by Cedar Creek. 1st and 10 from the 44. Nugent looking, throws, incomplete.
Well, you got to give credit for Cedar Creek. They are really making Nugent uncomfortable there in the backfield. He thinks about running this one, but he's got nowhere to go. He looks ahead of himself, and there's just nothing there. And then he tries to whiz one through the middle of the field here. But this is just good, penetration into the backfield. Nugent just doesn't have a lot of options there.
We've often posed the question, how do you stop Brody Nugent in this offense? And I think the answer to that, and any quarterback with his skill set, is to get them caught in between, trying to decide, do I want to run, do I want to throw? You keep him guessing for even a fraction of a second, and you have a shot. This time Nugent will roll to his left. He's running out of time and space as he throws it away.
There's nobody running underneath, too,
Yeah.
Joe. You know, there's all the deep routes going on, and, you know, we'll get another chance to see it here on the, you know, running it back here on the replay. But there's just not a lot of options here for Nugent. It's going to end up a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, you can get a look at it there. They have, it appears, 2 defenders tasked with spying Nugent. And you would think that if you do that as a defense, it opens up some of those pass catchers, but not so on that last play.
And Cedar Creek not showing blitz either. They're only rushing in 4.
Oh, they send pressure here. Nugent makes 1 man miss. 2, and he's still on his feet. He's headed across midfield, and he may have picked up the 1st down. I'm not sure he ever went down.
He never went down, Joe, but now they're
I think they ruled him down.
A yard short.
I don't think he went down. Did the forearm touch? What a run by Brody Nugent just to make it close. Man.
That's crazy. I mean, how does he do it, A, and B, how does he almost turn this into a 1st down?
How did they not bring him down here? 1 defender, 2 defenders, and now 3.
Does he go down now? Here's the thing.
He didn't go down.
No.
He did not go down. That play should not have been blown dead.
And Joe, it's 4th and 1, so we'll bring you back here.
Huge call. Huge call to mark him 1 yard short. 6:40 to go. 4th and 1. Allsbrook in motion. Nugent keeps, and he will pick up the 1st down on the ground.
Well, sheer will so far of Brody Nugent makes this a 1st down after a 3rd and 10 to do what he did on 3rd down and then to run this one past the 1st down marker. Old Bridge should not be in a hurry here. I mean, they'll huddle it up to the line, but with 6.5 minutes to go now, they can take their foot off the gas pedal and use up all the play clock here. And there's still 20 seconds left on it with 6:15 to go in the game.
Well, the pressure now squarely upon this Pirates defense. They can't afford to give up too much. A field goal with this amount of time left would effectively put the game away.
Good point. 7 seconds left on the play clock.
Nugent now in the pistol. Will hand off to Griffin Nugent, who continues to fight and turn what could have been a loss into a gain of a yard.
And we did hear the clock has stopped here because of an injury. It looked like peeling himself off slowly off the turf was Daniel Montero. He's back up, and we'll see when they wind the clock down here. 5:46 to go in regulation, and a quick 40 seconds on the play clock have been distributed. So they don't have to run a play till about 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in the game, Joe.
Well, I picked it up a bit earlier. Montero was getting loose on the sideline. He was leaping and was quite animated. He tweaked something in that process earlier, and the trainers were looking at him on the sideline, and it looks like after just a couple of plays back on the field, he's now down again, cramping up. Yeah, it's, as you said, taking their time here.
Yep, 20 seconds left on the play clock, so absolutely no rush. And Nugent knows it. He's just kind of lollygagging back there, every now and then taking a peek at the play clock, and now he'll get himself set up. And we have a whistle.
Well, that flag came out in the area of delay of game, and it did seem like they took a long time.
Yeah, but Joe, I'm looking at the play clock the entire time. It's to my left, and Nugent can see it too. It's in there.
Yep.
And it certainly wasn't at 0 when that flag came out. There was still about 5 or 6 seconds left on it.
You would expect the two play clocks to be synchronized.
Yeah, I think they are. So I don't know, unless they have a stopwatch on the field as well, and the time here is unofficial. It's been official to this point.
Well, I can tell you,
and they are picking it up.
It did feel like they had the ball for a while. Maybe the play clock was wrong, but the flag is picked up. As you said, it would be 2nd and 9 now.
Well, I think the reason why Coach Melody is hot is because they had the stoppage because of the injury, and then they put up a full 40 seconds on the play clock, Joe, when it probably should have been 25. I think when you stop the clock officially and then restart, you start it with 25 seconds. But I think that might be what head coach James Melody is having a chat about with the official. But see, right now, there's a 25 seconds on the play clock, and that's correct. After a whistle or after a stoppage, that's what you want to see. And I think the Old Bridge Knights might have gotten away with slipping a few seconds off the clock, not by any fault of their own, just because of the officials not putting up. Yep. See, and now they're putting up an extra 20 seconds on the game clock. So that's the right thing to do. So they put up 5:25 in regulation and 25 on the play clock, which is about what we said, right? They could snap the ball with about 5:05 remaining. So they're doing the right thing here.
If you're Cedar Creek, this is very possibly, if not this one, then the next one, but this is very possibly the set of downs where you need to get off the field.
Absolutely. Second and long here. Big moment in the game.
Nugent, flanked by Nugent in the shotgun. Two receivers wide to the right, one man wide left. Clock ticking down toward 5 minutes remaining.
Play clock is out.
Yeah, I think they shut it down. Nugent will hand off to Nugent. Running room. Flag out. And I think this first down will be negated by what is likely to be a holding penalty.
And they'll stop the clock with 4:55 to go, and it will be a hold against Old Bridge, and it'll be 2nd and 19.
Well, that one really hurts if you're Old Bridge. It stifles the momentum they had built on this drive. They were moving it pretty well, and we're in a good position to put this game away either by field goal or at the very least by taking a lot of time off the clock and pinning the Pirates back. Now, on a 2nd and 19, you're in a situation where it's going to be really tough to pick up a first.
Yeah, and also, especially if you want to keep the clock moving. That's the thing. You're going to have to put the ball up in the air. Whatever it is you do with the passing game, you want it to be very high percentage so that the clock is at least running. Pirates have not used a timeout yet in the game.
Just over 4.5 minutes to play. Once again, Nugent in the shotgun, flanked by Nugent. He will fake the handoff and keep. Running up the middle, he stood up and driven back. And you have to be careful there.
Yeah.
Wow,
I thought a flag came out. It was a shoe.
right in front of the official. Yeah. That is risky. And now the referee is forcing Nugent to the bench.
Yeah.
He went down helmet first into the turf, I thought. It looked like he was being ushered off, but he has stopped. I think he has to come out, Dave, the way they ushered him off the field.
I think so. And again, the play clock is not on here at the facility. I think they're doing that on purpose. And
I didn't think he went down head first. I thought it was shoulder first.
It was shoulder first, but that head did bounce a little bit off the turf.
He's staying in. I honestly think that should have been a penalty.
Yeah. Now, the clock is running, Joe. So all of this is happening while the play clock is running. We're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, remember, Old Bridge has all of their timeouts as well, so they can always stop it here with a second left on the play clock and discuss what they want to do here on what we have a 3rd and 17.
And I think that was always the plan, Dave. You nailed it. They're going to call timeout here and talk this one over, but I think now I do not want to see a game decided by a personal foul. Letter of the law, I think it was a penalty. I'm glad they didn't throw the flag there. But if you go back and look at it, we can't hear the whistle. They definitely took liberties to throw Nugent down to the turf well after the whistle blew. There's no question.
Let's see if we can hear the whistle, Joe. I'm going to audio override it. Let's see. We might have our – let's see. Yeah, so you folks at home can let us know what
I don't think they heard it, Dave, because the mute button was clicked over the replay on the right side.
Okay.
If you run it back again, you'll be able to do
Let's try and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, forward progress. Yeah, we can't hear the audio on the replay of a whistle, Joe, but forward progress was indeed stopped. Either way, we have 3:21 to go, 3rd and 17 here for Old Bridge.
How aggressive do you get here is the big question, as the Knights will line up in the shotgun. Nugent will take off on the design run. He has room. Breaks a tackle, and he has open space. He's across the 30, to the 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Knights. No flags!
Joe, 3 letters, W-O-W. I mean, on 3rd and 17, I was just about to say, Joe, I would put this one up. I would throw one deep and just take my chances. And when you have Brody Nugent, I guess you just don't do that. Because on any given play, this could happen, where you have a guy, he's dead to rights, breaks the tackle there, and then just the speed. And you're not going to catch him if you're behind him. So forget about it. And he just makes it look easy on what is a very difficult play to make on any level of football.
Well, if you go back and look at some of the key plays in this game, missed tackles by the Pirates really came back to bite them. Drives were extended, and like that one, big plays were made. As the Knights go in front by 2 scores late, the extra point is good, and Old Bridge leads it 21-7.
And with 3:14 remaining in the game, Joe, and you have to feel pretty good if you're an Old Bridge Knights fan. We're going to get another look at this play again, and it's just a marvel to take in. And he has a 67-yard run in this game and add a 47-yarder on it as well. I mean, and there was never a doubt. Yeah, and that's just an inexplicable miss for the tackle, and he's able to go the rest of the way.
Nugent with a huge day on the ground in this one has likely put this game away for Old Bridge with just over 3 minutes to go. The Pirates do have 3 timeouts, but throughout the second half and really throughout this game, Dave, we said that if Old Bridge could go in front by 2 scores and really force Cedar Creek to air the ball out, they'd be in a great position. And we know how good this Knights defense is. We know how capable this offense is, led by Brody Nugent. And we talked about it quite a bit last year, how this was a young team entering the 2024 season. All of those young players gaining a year of experience are back for 2025, and we expected good things from this team. It's been a nice start overall. There have been some things they need to clean up in this game, but I think it's been a good week 0 effort. I don't think you'll take too many negatives away from this one.
No, absolutely. You know, to go effectively on the road, you're traveling about an hour and 15, 20 minutes south to play this game. This is the, WJFL's kickoff weekend for those teams in that division. It is officially a road game, neutral site, but they did a good job here in this one, and they have to finish it though, Joe. They're gonna need to put the cap on it. And the one thing about Cedar Creek is, especially in this second half, they have taken the shots. They have gone down the field. That wasn't the case in the first half, but against a run-heavy Cedar Creek team, you'd like to think you have the advantage here. Still, the Pirates have flashed the big play capability if they can hook up on some of these longer throws. They're going to need them now with 3:03 remaining in the game, down by 2 touchdowns.
There have been openings down the field for Cedar Creek in this game, and they did connect on one of them for a big play earlier, but I think coming out of the gate and getting off to a bit of a slow start really hampered this offense. But they will look to throw here on first down. Has a clean pocket and some time, but time has run out. Michael Kavas wraps him up for the sack, and it's going to be second down and very long.
Yeah, and we said it earlier, Joe, how a majority of these plays, the Knights are not bringing extra pressure. And here's another good example of getting home with 4 guys. The Pirates are going to go quickly, so we'll get you back to live action as soon as we can. But this is just a simple 4-man rush, and it gets home. Kavas never giving up on the play. A huge loss, 2nd and 20.
Once again, Bethea looking to throw, and that ball will land out of bounds. It was caught, but well out of bounds by Campfield.
Yeah, Campfield with a really great catch, but it was really great coverage, and that's the reason why it drew him all the way out of bounds, and there was no shot here to make this grab.
They've been picking on Justin Birch quite a bit. They've thrown in his direction a lot. Good coverage there on that play.
Birch does have an interception in the game and a pass that was relatively thrown right at him.
Nugent.
But that was good coverage by Nugent anyway.
Sure was. 3rd down and 20. Trips to the left for Cedar Creek here, but they in the shotgun. He's looking to his left, and he throws the halfback screen off the hands of Dunbar, incomplete, and that will bring up 4th.
Off the hands and then off the helmet of another Cedar Creek player after he couldn't come down with it. Good job by Old Bridge to break up the play, but break it up enough not to take a personal foul here and just completely lay out Dunbar, who was kind of helpless here in this position. That's just a good, clean tackle on him rather than lighting him up, and nothing to do here. But Cedar Creek fixing to punt, which is a little bit of a surprise to me here, Joe. They do have all 3 timeouts, but there's only 2:15 remaining in the game.
Low snap, and the punt is sent out just shy of the 40. That's a good job to recover in the end zone and get that kick away. Tough to make out the number from back there, but I believe that was Raydel Ortega Garcia, number 20, on that punt. He faced stiff pressure coming in.
Well, he faced stiff pressure, Joe, but also a good job by Old Bridge not to sell out and try to block this, because you never know. If you run into the kicker or you rough the kicker, then you expose yourself to a foul that gives them an automatic first down. So that's a good disciplined play by the Knights, and even the fair catch. You say to yourself, wow, Diaz had some room there to really take off and run down the sideline. No reason to do that. Take the ball at the 40-yard line. You can essentially run out the clock by running the football here, or at the very least force Cedar Creek to use all 3 of their timeouts. That's good fundamental football for the Old Bridge Knights.
Well, you talked about Amir Dunbar and his average of about 100 yards plus a game coming in. They're about to pile up the rushing numbers on the Old Bridge side of things with the heavy backfield as Griffin Nugent nearly broke free inside the 30, but he picks up the first down.
Yeah, I think that's Nugent's longest run of this one, and I don't know if they called timeout. Did they call timeout,
I don't
Joe?
think they did.
Yeah, the clock is running, 1:45 to go.
So what do you call that formation? Can you call it a jumbo set with 4 players in the offensive backfield?
Yeah, I really didn't see it, but yeah.
What's a nice night pun? We need a night pun that we can use.
Well, a long time ago, Joe, when the Dallas Cowboys used 3 running backs behind the quarterback who would line up in the center, they called it the full house backfield. So that's about as close as I would come to that.
Griffin Nugent will take the handoff again, wants to stay in bounds here, and he's brought down short of the 30.
Yeah, loss of 4, but no problem. If you're Old Bridge here, that's positive play because it keeps the clock moving. And now we have seen our first timeout being called by the Pirates. They have 2 more and essentially can get the ball back with precious seconds left. But the Old Bridge Knights are looking more and more like they're going to improve to 1-0, and they have Edison next week on the road. And, Joe, we should mention to those at home, we do plan on covering that game. Now, the one caveat is if there is rain in the forecast, that might push our broadcast off the air because we believe that at Edison we would be exposed and be housed outside of the press box. So if that's the case and it is raining, we may not cover that game. But please keep it locked to our website, pdfsportsnet.com, and all of our social media pages, as well as during the week we'll bring you updates on that game.
So a group of knights, Dave, is called an Order of Chivalry.
All right.
So
we'll
is
have
that
to use that more
the Order of Chivalry formation?
You know what? I like it. I'll go with that. Here it is again, Joe.
Nugent will take the snap, and he hands off to Allsbrook here. And Allsbrook has stood up. No gain on that play. Maybe a loss of a yard. 3rd down coming up.
Now in a play like that, do we say chivalry is dead?
Well,
That's the rights on that play?
I might say that in another context, but we won't go there.
Well, Joe, officially 1:07 remaining, and the Pirates have called their second timeout. So they have 1 left after this play. It'll be a 3rd and 15 coming, a 3rd and 14 coming up. But, Joe, impressions of this Knights team on opening day?
I think you have to like what you've seen. We know from last year a lot of what this team does well. We know that their defense can be relied upon in high-pressure situations. They force turnovers. They get off the field on 3rd down, and they're a very fundamentally sound defense. They don't miss a lot of tackles. There aren't a lot of miscues on that side of the ball. Very rarely is there a blown coverage. So I think there's a lot to like on the defensive side, and we saw that here today from Old Bridge in this game. I think on the offensive side, we saw what they do well magnified to an extraordinary degree. We didn't see a lot through the air from them in this game, not really any big completions in the passing game, but they didn't need it. Nugent picked up chunks on the ground, and they did enough on that side of the ball to build the 2-score lead. And once you hand this defense a 2-score advantage, you're probably going to win most of the time if you're Old Bridge.
Yep, and if you're only giving up 7 points in a game, You're going to win pretty much them all if you feel confident enough.
This time Nugent keeps, and he will get out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the only negative part there. If anything, you just slide down, Joe, and keep the clock moving. That's the only negative part of that. It'll be about a 4th down and 8 coming up. And, you know, Joe, the other thing is they turned the ball over on their first drive, and then the slate was clean from there. They did not turn the ball over, and that's going to be a key for this team this season. They got hit with a couple of procedural calls, but overall they stayed disciplined enough as far as the penalties were concerned. Got hit with a couple of holding penalties, and they are going to attempt the field goal here, Joe. So how about this one? Michael Ferretto, in his first game here, assuming kicking duties, is about to launch a 41-yarder, it looks like, with 1 minute exactly on the clock, the 1 minute warning.
You don't get a chance for many of these kinds of reps in game. So I think these are valuable opportunities for a kicker to get out there and kick in a game situation with a defense coming at you. You can practice this as much as you want, but nothing quite replicates being out there with an opposing defense that's coming in to block it and trying to overtake that offensive line in front of you. You don't quite get the same effect in practice, regardless of how many reps you get.
Yeah, and Joe, I'm a little bit surprised that they're even attempting it, Joe, to be honest with you, because you never know what can happen. If you get a block, a scoop, and score here on this play for Cedar Creek, which I'm sure is what they're talking about here, or even if you put somebody right at the end line of the end zone, if this kick is short, you're able to return it for a big gain. Now it's a one-score game with under a minute to go, and anything can happen. And if you're Cedar Creek, that's all you want. You want this to be a one-score game. I would be really, really careful here if you're Old Bridge. You risk a block and a scoop and score, all of a sudden it's a game again when it shouldn't be. Of course, if he hits it from 41, Joe, you know.
I think you have to trust your guys
there goes
here.
That.
Kick is on its way, looks to be short. And I think it was wide right regardless, but that might have sneaked over the crossbar if it was in line. Nonetheless, a missed field goal will send the Pirates offense back out onto the field, and they have 51 seconds trailing by 14 points. We'll see how aggressive they look to be, but given the fact that they called timeout, you have to think they'll at least try something.
Yep. Never over till it's over officially, and as long as there's still seconds on the clock, you still have a fighting chance. But Cedar Creek, remember, this is week 0 for them as well, so you always want to try and build. You know, the goal is to be better in week 10 than where you were in week 0, and that's what all these teams are thinking about right now.
Bethea takes the snap and had nowhere to go with the football. He's brought down. Officially, I think they are going to pick up a sack on that play. They lost half a yard.
Short loss.
Pirates will get to the line quickly with just over 30 seconds to play. Bethea looking to throw again, has pressure coming from his left, and he completes sideline. Stiff arm by Campfield, and he did not get out of bounds. So this next play might be the last of this game.
I agree here. 14 seconds and counting.
Bethea flushed out to his left, has some time, and will take off. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and the clock hit zeros, but I think he got out of bounds.
Well, I think they are going to let it go down, Joe.
All right, that will be the final play of the game as Old Bridge wins their 2025 season opener. They knock off Cedar Creek High School by a final score of 21-7.
Can't ask for anything more, Joe. Opening day, last year during opening day, they dropped the heartbreaker to Woodbridge. Woodbridge went on to go undefeated during the regular season. But if you're Old Bridge, you got to like this. A 1-0 start. They have to play again on the road next week, but you know, check the box. You know, go 1-0 for the week. That's exactly what they did on the road here in South Jersey against the WJFL team. This is WJFL's opening showcase, if you will. So to come down here to South Jersey and score this win, a great one here. The rest of the field on notice. Brody Nugent turns in a great one. And Old Bridge, 1-0 for the season with plenty more to come here on the PDF Sports Network.
We have to turn over this press box to the next team of broadcasters very quickly, so we'll send you off the air with one final reminder that our YouTube audience will be able to view a full 1080p HD upload of this game either later tonight or tomorrow over on YouTube. As for those of you who purchased our premium pass over on Boxcast, you can begin your premium viewing experience later tonight or tomorrow as well, free of YouTube ads. We'll throw up that graphic one last time. To purchase our Old Bridge Knights football premium pass, you can scan the QR code on the screen. That is the right QR code. That will take you over to our Boxcast page where you can purchase our premium pass. For the rest of the season following this week, you will be able to watch live along with the YouTube audience, weather and internet permitting. However, all games that we cover will then be uploaded over on Boxcast in full 1080p HD alongside the YouTube upload. However, on Boxcast, you can watch those games ad-free. The only ads on Boxcast are from sponsors of Knights football. Once again, this has been Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto on the call for the PDF Sports Network. Our final score here in Week 0, the Old Bridge High School Knights 21 and the Cedar Creek High School Pirates 7. Our next broadcast here on PDF tomorrow morning over on Boxcast in the Vetera Liga. The Kuopio Steelers take on the Helsinki Wolverines. Our next Old Bridge broadcast will be 6 days from today on Friday, September 5th at Edison. Be sure to join us for those broadcasts here on PDF. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.